and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Randazzo. I am joined by my two rather eccentric co-hosts. To my right, it is the one, the only, Uncle Sam.
Hello.
Ooh.
Oh, Jesus, Bruce.
You can't hear it in the mic.
You suck so bad.
I do like that.
Have you ever
intro
watched a
song.
live
Find that.
podcast or like anything live? Because
Yes, all the time.
It's
Yeah.
not as organized as what you want it to be. Jamie.
Well, you want to know what the funny thing is?
in for Joe Rogan, and that's edited.
You want to know what the funny thing is? I don't give a fuck what anybody else does. My expectations for down here are my expectations for down here. And if you cannot meet those, son, there will be consequences. To my left, it is none other than our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Pellisolo.
Blessed.
Welcome to another week.
Did you say hi to Uncle Sam?
I did. I said hi to Uncle Sam. Did you give me a hello?
Yes, I did.
Did you say to my right we have the one and only Uncle Sam?
I did.
Dude.
And then I had to yell at Bruce.
I have a pounding
And then I
fucking
came to
headache,
you.
and this is bad.
How's your weekend? How's your weekend?
It's great.
High points, low points, pits, peaks. Let's
High
hear it.
high points. I don't know. Just spent a little time with my family on Sunday. Low point is coming in and found somebody wrote all over my fucking desk.
Whoever did it, you're a fucking dead man.
I'm gonna stab you in the eye with my fucking pencil when I find you.
Too bad
Dead.
the cameras weren't rolling.
Dead man.
Oh, the cameras aren't rolling right now?
No,
They
the
weren't
cameras
then.
weren't rolling.
We weren't live when they drew dicks on your
Yes,
desk.
when you had penises being put on your desk.
We drew a dick on my desk. I don't like that.
How many cookies have you put down so far?
Not as many as you think. Couple. Handful.
Just a couple?
Handful.
You haven't gotten into it yet?
No, I haven't.
You haven't had the time to sit down and
Nope. I have
really
not.
dissect them?
So what kind of cookies? Tell us about the cookies.
Chocolate chip.
Yeah, so every year my mother and grandmother do a weekend. It's not a day, it's a weekend of cooking.
That's how it should be.
And it's
It should be a weekend of cooking.
yeah, there's 1,000 chocolate chips and then some minty chocolate chips and then fudge,
You all right?
peanut
No.
butter bars.
You get hair of the dog that bit you, bud. You know what you need? A shot of the
Um,
Kraken.
I'm a bit dark.
Need a
rum.
shot
I
of the
think dark
Kraken.
rum is the
Dark
answer
rum
right
is the answer.
Yeah.
If you're
Kraken.
fucked up, dark rum is the answer. How was your weekend, Solo? So obviously
Good.
Saturday
Nice
we
rum.
to the
Yeah,
game.
I went to Ladder 4 Saturday before the game. Had a good meal. I'd say it's worth the hype. And then the game was obviously outstanding. Game was so good I left it early.
That's how you know it's a good game when you can leave early.
Yeah, I was on the 5th floor of the parking deck and I was dreading it the entire game because I knew I would get fucked. So with 7 minutes to go, I said fuck it. I only missed one Laporta touchdown, so I saw 66% of Sam Laporta's touchdowns still. And left early yesterday. I laid in bed. Watched.
Did you
my
see
team
Bruce
shit.
there?
I didn't see Bruce.
I told you to go find him.
I know. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
It was frantic.
I needed my photo.
I'll get one. I'm sure it's not the last time.
Okay.
Sure, it's not the last time.
All right.
Bruce, how was your weekend?
Fantastic.
That's it. Fantastic.
Who'd you go to the game with?
My family.
Wow. I feel like morale's pretty low down here today. Bruce is all fucking. Bruce is on his period. Zolo has a headache. You're the only happy one today. Anyways. Thank you. All right, we got a lot of shit to do today. We got a full weekend recap. Obviously, Saturday games, Sunday games. We have a big Monday night game to preview. We had a ton of controversy come out of this weekend. We have a player who is suspended for the rest of the regular season and postseason if they make it due to a quote-unquote dirty hit. One of the teams that we thought was the best in the league took a nice shot to the jaw yesterday, and the Lions won. The fucking Lions won. I don't know how much news I want to do today, but Bruce, let's do a little bit of news. Start off the day. I know Carl is in here right now. Carl G 313 is watching at the moment, so I wanted to report this.
How can you confirm that?
I can confirm that he is in there. He is watching, and I wanted to report that he took this one pretty hard. Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell suffered a season-ending ACL tear in yesterday's game against Jacksonville.
He plays in Baltimore.
And he will miss the
All
remainder
running
of the
backs
season.
that play in Baltimore get hurt.
There is a curse. There has to be a curse.
All the way from
Baltimore
Ray
running
Rice.
backs.
You can go way back if you want to. Yeah?
Well, Ray Rice also punched a woman in the face.
Oh,
That's why he missed
that's
a lot of
his
time.
wife that you're talking about.
Oh, his current wife. But yeah, so that essentially leaves Gus Edwards and Justice Hill is the only two viable options there who they try to replace every year. So they must not love that. But yeah, Keaton Mitchell out for the year after tearing his ACL. Arthur Smith came out today and said that he doesn't know who is going to be the starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons in Week 16. Desmond Ridder is no longer guaranteed the starting spot, and he could go back to Taylor Heineke. So it was a pretty bad one for Atlanta this weekend. We'll break that one down here shortly, but
Wow, so much for them winning the division.
there's still a chance.
Anyway.
There's still a fucking chance. Heisman winner and LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels has announced that he will enter the 2024 draft, and he is not playing in the Really a Quest bowl game. I don't know what the Really a Quest bowl game is, but yeah, he will not be participating. Steelers safety DeMonte Casey has been suspended the rest of the season and any possible playoff games for his hit on Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman yesterday. If you watch the video, that was a really unfortunate sequence of events. Pittman's laying out to get a ball that was badly thrown over him, and Casey went low. And I mean, I personally, watching that, don't understand how you're going to suspend this guy for the rest of the year because his quarterback threw a ball that essentially laid Pittman out to dry. I really don't think there was much else Casey could have done other than run through him upright, which you would have essentially had the same result. But I don't know what the NFL expects from these defensive players at this point.
Is he a repeat offender, Casey?
He is a repeat offender, and that is why he was suspended the rest of the year. The hit was bad. It looked extremely ugly.
It's the worst hit this year.
Yeah, but it was just it was a perfect storm. Looking at it's hard for me to see
I'm so
malintent.
tired of hearing about this defenseless players and this. Fuck you. You're out there, defend yourself. Okay? I'm so tired of it. So fucking tired of it. It's a bang bang play. Fucking, it needs to stop. It needs to all stop. The suspensions are stupid. The fines are even more stupid. You're going to fine the fuck out of this guy. You know what? You're destroying the game. You're destroying the game you're putting a diaper on everybody. You need to fucking stop.
I want to give that a little bit more of its due diligence so when we get to that
Well,
game.
because I haven't even started yet. Wait till I start talking about the roughing the passer calls that I've witnessed over the weekend.
When we get to that
Okay.
game, I want to break that one down.
Josh Allen's the biggest flopper I've ever seen in this fucking league. You big cunt. You big cunt.
The Steelers are benching
Plug your
quarterback.
ears, Elizabeth.
Excuse my French, ready, ladies that are on.
Plug your ears, Elizabeth.
The Steelers are benching Mitchell Trubisky and are
Oh,
going.
gee, I wonder why. How does that motherfucker get paid? How does anybody play him to pay football? Because he's fucking awful. Awful. My God. I thought Danny DeVito was bad. By the way, he came back down to life too. But
he
this
got hurt.
fucking guy here, how Trubisky is even on a fucking roster is beyond me. It's beyond me. He's dog shit. Utter dog shit.
Before we go too deep into Trubisky being dog shit,
He's fucking dog shit.
Mason Rudolph has been named the starter for Week
He's dog
16.
shit too.
Yeah,
I
that's
watched
what I'm
him
saying.
play. My God, dude. Do these guys even play? Do they even
No.
practice?
You know what they say?
Do they even practice? Do they get snaps in practice? Do they throw the ball at people? What the fuck, dude?
You know what they say is you could put lipstick on a pig.
It's still,
but it's still a pig.
It's still a fucking pig. Do you think I mean, at this point, I think they'd be better off just going to the street and picking somebody up, but
You want a fun fact real quick?
sure.
Since Matt Canada was fired, their points per game went down from 16 to like 14 something. Their
So
points per game's gone down.
So nobody can point the finger at Matt Canada this week.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck.
he was bad, but it's always been a quarterback issue. No matter what, it's always been a quarterback issue. And I don't know how much flack Tomlin's going to take this year, but
He should take some now.
he had 2 years to develop a quarterback.
Let's be totally honest. I think coming into the league in the past 10 to 15 years, quarterbacks are more ready now than they were ever ready before. Because before, these guys would get drafted and sit on the bench for 4 or 5 years before they even got a shot.
PJ, you were indeed wrong about Trubisky. I will say that.
I'm sorry?
PJ came in the chat. He said, I was wrong about Trubisky. I said, yeah, PJ was wrong.
Whatever.
PJ was a big Trubisky guy, if you remember. The Ravens,
He sucks.
who signed Malik Cunningham off the Patriots practice squad last week. The Patriots practice squad quarterbacks have now been picked on again after the Chargers have signed Will Greer. The Pats quarterback room is now just Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi.
That's fucking awesome.
After the Easton Stick performance, they obviously kind of felt like they needed to at least bring somebody else in. In a corresponding move, the Chargers actually cut. What are you doing?
I don't know. There's a fucking screw loose on this.
Wow,
He was in here
fitting.
playing with all my shit. They moved all my stuff. I don't like that shit. Tell your motherfucking friends to stay away from my shit. They touched my Dan Marino helmet. That's bad luck now.
What's bad luck?
They touched Dan Marino.
Maybe he'll win
Go
a
ahead.
Super Bowl now as an executive.
Maybe. You'll never know. Outside of that, I think. Oh, Will Levis, high ankle sprain, and he will be questionable going into this week. The Vikings are going to start Nick Mullins for the rest of the season. So the Lions
Awesome.
will get Nick Mullins next week. Trevor Lawrence is in the concussion protocol. And the Ravens have signed Melvin Gordon to their active roster after Keaton Mitchell went to IR.
I didn't even know Melvin Gordon still played football.
I, honest to God, didn't either. That's the first time I've seen his
Okay.
name in
I
a
think
very
they
long
signed
time.
him when
He was on the practice squad after
what's his face went down
Training
from
camp.
Ohio State.
Dobbins.
Dobbs went down.
When
Yeah.
Dobbins went down is when they signed
Okay.
Melvin Gordon, if I remember correctly.
All right, straight from the news into the recap. Let's go. I think Junior was trying to say if you touch Murderer's Row, you end up on the wall. In defense of your station over here being got Ray
Yes, your
Caruth.
head ends up on the fucking wall.
How does Dan?
Oh, look
end
at
up-
the cameras are actually fucking moving now. Here's my Henry Ruggs jersey right here. Henry Ruggs.
10 years.
Henry Ruggs and
Pointed OJ.
Aaron Hernandez and
Aaron
OJ.
Hernandez dead. OJ got
The
10
Jews.
years.
I love the Jews.
Got
Ray
combined.
Caruth.
Combined.
Anybody
2
know
life
Ray
sentences
Caruth
so
is?
far? No. How long?
You're gonna have to do your fucking homework on that one.
Should we get the
Is that a bad omen for Justin Jefferson and?
Yeah, he needs to get the fuck out of my thing.
There's
so
only
he
He's
kills
directly
somebody.
behind you, so no.
He
one can
kills
see.
somebody,
Yeah,
then
nobody
he can be up on my
you
wall.
can only
Yeah.
get so many murderers over there.
Maybe we should get Barry away from over your shoulder, but Barry wouldn't kill anybody.
You know what? If I can find you a Ray Rice one to put up over there, I'll make sure I get it for you. How does that sound? Or you don't want Ray
You
Rice?
should just give me an autographed picture of Matt Rule.
We need Ray Lewis.
I've got the.
Ray Lewis got away with murder.
That's true.
Yeah.
He did.
Shout out
Be
to
over
Z.
here.
Happy
Where's my Ray
belated Z.
Ray at?
Happy
You
belated.
want it? We'll get you a Ray
He
Lewis.
killed a few people in Atlanta.
I got the Dwayne Haskins jersey over there. If you want to get that. Up
yeah,
on the
but he
wall.
was, you know what?
He just got killed. He didn't
kills
actually
himself. So I don't know.
murder. All right. Should we start with them or should we end with them?
You call it.
Let's start. Let's start with our very own Detroit Lions, who, hosted the Denver Broncos on Saturday Night Football. Bruce, what were the picks for this game?
We all chose Detroit. Or no, you and I chose Detroit. They chose Denver.
Okay, thank you.
Look, I
I'm
want
used
this
to
on
saying
record.
we all choose Detroit.
I want this on record. I picked against the Lions because I needed to create good juju for them, and if I picked them, it would have been bad juju.
So
I
you
still
did
thought-
what you had to do. Is what
Yeah,
you're
but no, I still thought they were going to lose going in.
No, I thought you did the right thing. I did the same thing.
I thought they were
and
gonna
I,
lose.
I,
I thought they were gonna
said right on here, I hope I'm wrong. And I'm glad I was fucking wrong. You know, they won. I was happy about the win. I'll start saying shit, and you guys are all fucking.
No, go
freaking
ahead.
out,
Say shit.
No,
We'll
go ahead.
I'm not
Go
even
ahead.
gonna go there.
Go ahead. Talk a whole bunch
all
of
I'm
shit.
gonna
Talk
say-
that shit. Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is this: that game should have been over before half.
It was.
No,
it
it should have been.
It was
over
21 to nothing.
before
It was
half.
20-0.
I thought they left a lot of points on the field during the first quarter.
They scored
was-
42
that they
points.
were
It was
just
Goff.
fucking.
It was Goff. Goff took a sec. Goff didn't get going until the second quarter.
Well,
and
I
then-
don't know about that. I didn't like the play calling.
Yeah,
I'll just
no.
say this.
The play calling was bad the first two drives, the first two punt drives. Then Ben Johnson got the play calling in order.
I didn't mind the targets to Williams. I didn't mind any of that. I just thought that they should have inserted their dominance early first quarter.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
Can we do a slow 5 things today?
Yeah.
So that way we can break this down. Because I took a ton away from this game.
So did I. Hit the 5 things, and then I want to go back to what he was talking about. First thing, the O-line is back. Question to you, Uncle Sam. Do you see what we're talking about now when we say that they have the best offensive line in football when they're healthy?
No.
Yeah, when
Okay.
they're all healthy, there's no question.
No, when they're all healthy, they're not the best, but
They're the best.
They're the
They're
best.
good.
No,
they're good
they're the
when
best.
they're all
Best.
playing.
Listen,
Go ahead.
there's only so many examples that you can use, right? When you're missing a piece of that offensive line, they play like dog shit. When you have that offensive line all together and they're all on the field and they're not even 100% healthy, but somewhat healthy, you have the most explosive offense in football outside of Miami.
They have the best run game. Goff has the second best passer rating. He's got the best passer rating downfield.
You have the keys to the kingdom.
You have everything.
Yep.
You literally have everything when the offensive line is healthy, which, by the way, might I add, something you didn't mention, it came out after the game on Saturday. Fucking Frank Ragnow is a week removed from meniscus surgery.
10 days removed from knee surgery.
He was playing with a torn meniscus, and he's like, I got to sit this one out. Campbell texts him the day of the surgery and goes, I'll be back next week. Ragnow was a monster. Ragnow was an absolute monster on Saturday.
Complete game. He
game
took
changer.
over the game.
Complete game changer. It's a no-brainer. Like, this team, like you said, you think David Montgomery's the engine. Agree to an extent. The engine is the running game in general. It's Gibbs and Montgomery, and that starts with the offensive line. When the offensive line is ticking, this team is really difficult to stop offensively. It's not even up for debate because in all of the games where they've played with their healthy and intended offensive line, they're 4-0. Okay, they outrush everyone in the league at that point. I have the numbers somewhere. I'll pull them up another time. But they're the best rushing team in the league. They literally lead the league in rushing. Gibbs and Montgomery are the number 1 running back tandem with yards from scrimmage in the league. That's not even including their fucking passing yards, their pass catching yards. They're that good at running the ball. So when the offensive line is healthy, it all ticks. And I want to go back on what you said. I agree on the first quarter. It was bad. It was all punts. It took Ben Johnson a second to get going. He did, I thought, at the end of the first quarter, but Goff didn't catch up to him. Goff didn't settle in because he was still playing nervous and didn't trust his line. But then Goff settled in, and that's when the points started to come, is once Goff realized, oh, okay, I have time to throw today. And good things just came from there. I mean, they literally scored 5 straight touchdowns. Or was it 4 or 5? I think they scored 5 straight touchdowns, right? After the punts. Which is, I mean, that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. And there was a lot of panic on Goff. And am I saying he's the best quarterback in the league? No, but he's more than serviceable. He's easily a top 10, probably a top 5 quarterback when he's playing behind this line. And he can trust that he's not going to get drilled, and he can stand in the pocket and deliver the balls that he's capable of delivering.
If we jump back to what was it, Friday when we had the golf debate? The Goff, Hendon Hooker. Do we bring him? Do we sign him? Goff made his money on Saturday. Goff got paid. Regardless of what happens, Goff got paid.
Listen, he's gotten where they haven't been in 30 years, so
You can't touch it.
what are you going to do?
Can't touch
You
it.
can't touch it.
And
What are you going to do?
when the machine works,
And making money, what's he going to make, 30 million?
no,
He'll
probably
get
40
close
million,
to,
maybe?
I
Maybe
think he'll
40?
get close to 50.
44.
Yeah, guess what? Pat Mahomes makes 55 a year.
Pat Mahomes makes 50. Or no, Pat Mahomes makes
55.
45 million a
He
year.
restructured.
55.
He makes 45 million a year.
Oh, now it's 45?
After
Burrow
the,
makes 55.
hold on. After the Burrow and Hurts contracts, and then Lamar, there was 3 contracts that rolled in this summer. The Chiefs were like, whoa, we got to make sure we get ahead of this now, and they restructured to where I think Mahomes is over 50 now, and it's guaranteed, and they just completely restructured it. He's still not the most. I think
Burrow's still the most.
is still the most.
Then they're gonna have to give him 45 million bucks a year.
No, I think he's going to get close to 50, but it's going to be a bargain in 2 or 3 years.
That's
if,
true.
if this goes according to plan, close to 50, there's so many quarterbacks that are going to get paid so much more than him.
Go ahead.
Thing number 2, we made a lot of the Lions draft class. Gibbs and Laporta had 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. Brian Branch, they moved him back exclusively to nickel instead of bouncing him all over the field, and he's been extremely effective over the last 3 weeks. And then on top of that, Jack Campbell has settled in a lot better in the last couple weeks, playing in that official off-ball role. I mean, those 4 picks, what more can you say? What more can you say about those 4 picks? And we're really, like, what's going on with Sam Laporta at this point is beyond special. He's putting up not just one of the best rookie tight end seasons in NFL history, but one of the best seasons for a tight end in NFL history. He just doesn't have the yards to prove it, but he's got the touchdowns and counting. Like, there's more to come. And he now leads the Lions in rookie pass catcher touchdowns ever. He beat Roy Williams' record, which I think was 8 in 2004. And enjoy the ride while we have these two. Jahmyr Gibbs gets better and more special every week, especially after that start. We were all worried about that start. But, I mean, what more can you say at this point about those guys?
Sam Laporta is just it's been monstrous. Like he's the plays he's made. Granted, I will say Denver allows the most fantasy points to tight ends. Either way, I think Sam Laporta, it speaks for his body of work so far, speaks for itself. The guy was an absolute stud. You got great value in the pick because if they go back and do it now, he's not there when they took him. And at the end of the day, if this is the Jahmyr Gibbs that we're getting through 14 games,
One of the best running backs in football.
correct. And he's a picture-perfect complement to David Montgomery.
He leads the league. Jahmyr Gibbs leads the league in rushes of over 20 yards, even more than McCaffrey.
That's because A-Chain was hurt.
Thing number 3, it's not all positive. Thing number 3, the third quarter woes are still there. They were a lot better in the third quarter, a lot better, but they still came out flat, especially defensively, and it's hard. It's hard to pitch a shutout for an entire game. It's hard to shut down an offense like Denver's, but they still came out flat, and I thought they could have done more. And the offense still had to do, I think there was one, no, they didn't punt in the third quarter. I'm sorry. The offense did well, but I want to see defensive dominance in the third quarter coming out of the locker room. And again, that's coaching. That's you not making the proper adjustments, you not preparing for the other team's adjustments, but it can't all be perfect, especially if you dominate quarters 2 and 4, which really matter. If you dominate going into the half and you dominate at the end of the game. But still, you need to show a little bit more in the third quarter if you want to beat some of these better teams. Thing number 4, speaking of the defense, it's been so well the last month, and something that I've noticed is that it's simplified. Everything is just simple at this point. They've scaled everything down. And their game plan on Saturday, was really good. It was, we're going to rush 4. We're going to stay in our rushing lanes. We're going to make this guy beat us with our arm. And if you have the right 7 guys sitting back there and no one's open, eventually your pass rush is going to get home. Eventually is going to go down, and that's what was happening. And there was more to it than that, too. The personnel that was in the game was outstanding. I don't know what the hell is going on with Isaiah Buggs. There's no reason why he should not be on the field. He is extremely effective, and I'm not talking about his fumble return. He brought pressure every time he was out on the field on passing downs. Did he get a hold of the quarterback every time? No, but he was there, and he played well. On top of that, Bruce Irvin's a difference maker. Hutchinson was outstanding, per usual. I mean, that shows. And then on top of that, there's another subtle change that we haven't talked about. I sent you Sean Stellato, Tommy DeVito's agent.
Yeah.
He represents another guy, plays for the Lions, Ifeatu Melifonwu, who's been really fucking good for 2 weeks. And that's because Aaron Glenn's letting him play box safety right now, and they're blitzing him on the outside, and he's covering guys near flawlessly, and they might have something in Melifonwu, and I'm really looking forward to see what he could do for the rest of the year. But the defense it's coming along nicely. I still don't think it's very talented. I still haven't seen enough of a pass rush. I still haven't seen enough sacks. But if you stop the run and you play simple and you give your corners life, you help them out. You help them out with safeties. You help them out with linebackers and coverage. They're not going to get burned as often. And it showed on Saturday. Uncle Sam, go ahead.
No, he mixed it up nice. I think that was the most impressive part of the game.
Yeah, you told me after the game.
It's what he did defensively.
Aaron Glenn's
bringing the safeties. Everybody wanted Aaron Glenn's head fucking a week ago. Guy looks like a fucking genius now.
Yeah.
You
He's a hell of a coach.
Listen,
He's a hell of a coach.
He's doing the best he can with what he has. Now he's doing the smart thing, and that's actually shuffling guys in and out.
Yeah.
I think that was a very smart thing to do, was to sit Walker and play him.
Mm-hmm.
Walker was banged up, they said. I don't know about that, but that's what they were saying. But they were playing him in his spot. And he's a little bigger than Walker, and he's fucking fast. Quicker than I thought he was.
He could do what they need him to do. He could do what they need him to do in the defense more than Walker.
They need to do more of that. The problem is with the Detroit defense is real simple. The back end isn't really good. So what you need to do is, if you can get home on that front end, you can blitz these guys from all different angles. They were blitzing him, Barnes, and they were getting home.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, they were getting other guys to get loose. Guys up front at the line, guys like Buggs. Guys like, what's his name? The other defensive end.
Bruce Irvin?
No, not Irvin.
Kaminsky.
The one that got playing inside. Josh Pascal.
Pascal
got loose
on the board.
because guess what? They brought the safety. The guy went over to try to get the safety, and Pascal come right through and had a clean shot. That's what happens when you got clean shots.
Yep.
You start bringing guys from all ends. You know what? This is what Denver was doing prior to this. Everybody's like getting honest about picking Denver. Denver beat Kansas City. They beat Buffalo. They beat Cleveland. Oh, what the fuck, dude? They've been on a roll. They've won 6 out of 7. 6 out of 7 games. They come in here and they were flat.
They were not flat.
They were fucking flat.
I'm not buying that. I'm not
were
fucking
flat.
buying that. They were dominated on both sides of the fucking
They were
ball.
flat. They were dominated. They were flat.
They were
That's
not
not
flat.
the usual Denver team you see playing. It's my opinion. You can say whatever you want. I'm telling you what I saw.
I'm with you on Aaron Glenn real quick. I love how creative he's been. He's making more with less. He has been. He's really, people want to crucify him. Z, I see you in the chat that he's not a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach. There's a reason why he interviewed for jobs last year. There's a reason why it's going to happen again this year. He's doing more with less. And it's been impressive other than the Chargers game. I thought the defense folded pretty bad in the Chargers game. Obviously folded in the Ravens game. But what he's doing right now from a coaching standpoint, they're getting better every week because they're just simplifying things every single week. And I'm with you.
They're bringing pressure. This is something they didn't do in the Charger game, especially in the second half, because they were getting fucking torched.
Mm-hmm.
They were bringing the pressure like they were doing now.
The pressure disappeared. And the like you said, the best recipe for a bad secondary is a good pass rush. They haven't had that.
Correct.
And conversely, the best recipe for a bad pass rush is a good secondary. Is if you got good guys in coverage.
When you start bringing, you got to bring guys to do that.
Yeah, you don't.
If you can't get a pass rush, you have to bring guys.
You don't have.
And I think when you see your guys not getting home, here, let me give you for instance. You go back, rewind here back to that Baltimore game. When you seen that your fucking defensive line wasn't even getting off the line of scrimmage, and you decided just to drop your guys back in coverage and let Lamar Jackson just fucking ass pummel you, this is what happened. If you actually brought guys, that might not have happened.
Yeah,
Might not have happened. And now he's kind of learning it on the fly, obviously.
I'm with you. And the way a way around that is he's been blitzing corners. They've been blitzing the DBs now, and they're delayed.
Right.
They're guys that'll show like it's disguising the coverage.
Right.
So if he's getting tricky with the coverage and he's figuring out a way to disguise it, and these corners aren't showing like they're blitzing, then all of a sudden you have fucking out of nowhere Melifonwu coming in and drill. I mean, that was a car accident he put Russell Wilson through. He absolutely
never saw
pummeled
it.
him.
Wilson didn't even see him. By the
even
time
see
he
him.
saw him, he was on top.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's
And
how you do
That's
it.
what you got to do. You got to disguise that shit. And if you look at when he came through there, he was about fucking 12 to 15 yards off the line of scrimmage.
They
And
weren't showing.
shot through
He wasn't
there.
showing
He
blitz.
seen the fucking gap.
He wasn't
shot
showing
through there and
blitz.
Got him.
He was showing coverage, and there's nothing you could do about that. There's no quarterback in the
see,
league that could do anything about that.
Denver has a guy. I don't know. I'm trying to remember his name, McMillan or whatever.
Raekwon
He's been
McMillan?
doing this quite often for the past 4 to 5 weeks, and has really emerged into a good player. He's a rookie for Denver, and he's really doing the same type of thing.
Jaquan McMillan.
Correct. Now, every time you want to know what's smart about that is when Johnson seen him lining up to a certain side, they'd run the hot route to that side. Knowing that this guy was going to come, they kept running that hot route.
Yep.
And that's how the Lions were able to counter that.
Yep.
Now, I don't think Denver, because the Lions, you don't see them doing what they did last week here with this Denver game with sending safeties. You don't see that from them often. And I think it caught them off guard.
It did. I'm with you. And quick on that, this was one of Ben Johnson's best games in a while too. I thought he got back on track.
Yeah, other than
nicely.
the first quarter, I thought he did well.
Yeah, agreed. And he one of the reasons obviously is the offensive line. And when you have when Goff is able to call the game at the line safely like that, which he was doing, he was making the audibles on that when the hot route when McMillan would line up on different sides. When you're able to audible nicely and you could run things by Sewell or you can get guys open in the flat, it really goes a long way to everything this team is trying to do. There's so many weapons, and you can maximize the potential of the weapons when you have the time to throw. And it sucks that we don't have a mobile quarterback, but this is
Yeah,
the hand
you know
of the
what?
belt.
You know what I want to see more out of them, and I hate to sound like a broken record here, dude. I want to see them run the ball 35 to 40 times a game. And when you do that, it shortens up the fucking game. And guess what? Teams don't get a chance to come back on you when you're controlling the clock. What happened to the Dan Campbell fucking 9-minute drives? What happened to that?
I think
we
they're
don't
coming back.
see it anymore.
I think
and
they're
it
coming
fucking
back.
pisses me off.
No, it's because the line has struggled and they've been unhealthy. I think with a healthy line, that's going to come back. And I agree with you because that's their bread and butter. We're going to dominate the tempo of the games.
This is what turned around this whole team.
They had one.
The 9-minute drive.
They had one at the end of the Charger game. It led to a field goal, and there was a drive where they took 7 or 8 minutes off the clock.
Yeah, I
end
want
the
to see
game.
more of that.
I think it's coming. Real quick, I had a special request to discuss this topic in the chat there. You'll appreciate this, Uncle Sam, and you'll appreciate this too. The Lions can beat San Francisco, but they can't beat Philly. What are your thoughts on that, both of you?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that because I'm officially off the Philadelphia bandwagon.
Oh!
Because I have heard that Matt Patricia is taking over play calling duties for their defense.
Oh!
And I officially just shot myself in the head, and I don't have any faith in Philadelphia going forward.
Do you have anything to add? I think I know where he's coming from.
Did you hear
by the
me?
way.
Yes, I did.
I don't have any faith on them.
Don't
going
worry,
forward.
we're gonna get to
How can you take your
we're gonna get to
defensive
that.
coordinator?
That's your boy Nick
I don't wanna get
Sirianni.
I don't
That's
wanna-
your boy Nick
listen,
Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni's not my boy.
That's your boy.
I don't like Nick Sirianni. I never did.
Oh Jesus!
I like
Mary
the
Angels.
Eagles. I
You're a
don't like
fucking
Nick Sirianni.
bold-faced liar.
Oh, whatever, dude.
He's Italian,
What
so I'm
the
going to
fuck,
blame Nick
dude?
Sirianni.
What do you
I'm not a
mean?
Nick Sirianni guy.
You were up to
I'm not.
24 hours ago.
I was not a Nick Sirianni. I am an Eagles guy. I like the Eagles. I like what Howie Rose. I'm a Howie Roseman guy.
whatever.
I love what he's done.
I actually have a hot take right now. Okay, and I never pushed the panic button. I never once pushed the panic button
did.
on this Lions team. I
did.
didn't because we've seen enough to know that there was no reason to panic. And I didn't. This to me, I think on Friday I thought the Lions could win this game by 21. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I'm Bruce vouched for me on that one. Okay. I think that the Lions right now, if they played the way that they played yesterday, they could beat both Philadelphia and San Francisco.
If they played the way they
I'm
played,
gonna say this.
More Philadelphia.
I don't want to sound like the Debbie Downer or anything like that.
Well, you are.
I truly think the Detroit Lions are more similar to the Dallas Cowboys than what we think.
Disagree.
I
Fucking
truly believe that. I think the Dallas Cowboys, when they're on, they're good. Just like Detroit, when they're on, they're on. But I feel if the Detroit Lions had to play from behind, they're a lot like the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't know if they got what it takes to get them over the top.
I don't think you could compare more two polar opposite teams.
You
want to know who this Lions team is?
Well, yeah,
comparable
obviously,
to?
because I think the Dallas Cowboy defense is a lot better than the Detroit Lion defense. I'm just saying.
Are you forgetting
they're
about
similar offensively? They
How?
run the ball. They like to do a little play action. Their quarterback.
How are they similar offensively?
I don't know. You guys are all off the Dak Prescott fucking bandwagon now.
No,
I'm
not
off the
at all.
bandwagon.
But you're
He's
sitting
not
here.
the MVP
You're
right
sitting
now.
here talking about.
Making a comment.
You're sitting here talking about a team that ran the ball 28 times last night for 185 yards. When Dallas in every game this year except 5 has not been able to establish a run and put it on the back of Dak Prescott. That's the
They
difference.
remind me a lot of the Lions.
But it doesn't make sense. This
It does
team
make
right
sense.
now reminds
It
me.
does make sense. Absolute sense.
Why?
They're very good when things are going well for them.
That's called every team in the
If they can get a
NFL.
lead, if the Detroit Lions get a lead, they're a lot like the Dallas Cowboys. They can put it on you. But if they got to fucking work from behind, they remind me a lot of the Lions. It's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Opinions are like assholes.
That you're
Everybody
goddamn right
has
it
one.
is, because it's an opinion that has nothing behind it. But either way,
Okay.
but
Nothing I say has anything behind it.
no, but it does. The shit you says does have something behind it. But you sit there and say that the offenses are the same when the offenses couldn't be more polar.
I didn't say that. I said they're similar.
But
similar.
they're not.
Both of these teams are similar. They play the same type of football.
They don't.
Yes, they do.
I'm with you on if they play the way they played Saturday, they're going to be a tough one for anybody.
They
Exactly.
are.
Anybody who has to come to Detroit better have a fucking lunch packed
I've got
because they're going to have the fight of their life.
if this team makes the NFC Championship game and they play San Francisco, that will be that is the perfect fucking matchup. That will be such a right now, Detroit matches up against Philadelphia very nicely, in my opinion. I think Philadelphia.
I think every team matches up with Philadelphia pretty nice at this point.
Philadelphia doesn't. Their corners, I don't think they'd be able to shut them down. I think Laporta would be able to run rampant. I don't think that their run defense is good enough right now. And yeah, would Jalen Hurts keep him in that game? Absolutely. And does Detroit have a corner that's going to be able to shut down A.J. Brown? No. But at the end of the day, I think Detroit stays
And
with them
Devontae
in
Smith.
lockstep and is able to beat that team. Because it's only going to take a couple mistakes. And right now, Philadelphia is not a team that's playing perfect football. Far from it.
No, they're a little bit in disarray right now. Obviously, they're making coaching changes with fucking 3 weeks left.
I want to reserve a little bit of judgment on Philly because I know they're not playing a relevant team tonight. But like, this is the one. If you're bad or if something's really
Jalen
wrong,
Hurts is probably not going to play tonight.
I heard he is going to play.
playing.
I heard he's going to
Playing
play.
now?
He's playing.
Regardless of if he plays, if there's really something wrong, we'll find out tonight because you're playing a backup Drew Lock on the road. So if shit hits the fan,
Also, Geno Smith's not playing tonight.
I don't think Geno Smith is playing as of now. No.
I'll see what happens.
So if I want to reserve because Philly could easily run the table going forward, finish as a top seed, and I don't trust a lot of
And when
teams
they
going
play
to Philly.
Danny DeVito twice after this.
They play the Giants. They have
Twice.
one more. They have one more bad one. It might be the Giants twice, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Regardless, on the
And what is Detroit? We go on the road this week to
it's at Minnesota, at
Indianapolis.
Dallas, and then Minnesota at home.
at Dallas, and then they got Minnesota at home.
Yeah, but this weekend's this is the Super Bowl. This is the moment
what
we've been
happens.
waiting for. I'll get into that Sunday or Friday, but on Dallas right now, I'm not going to overreact. Remember we were picking the game on Friday, and you go, "What does Vegas know?" You remember you said that?
Yeah.
There was a whole I was in and out of consciousness, but ESPN walked through why it happened. But it's Dallas on the road, it's Dallas outdoors, it's Dak in cold weather cities, and Dallas really needs that home advantage more than Dak just can't be outdoors. That's the problem. And you're not going to win if you don't have a quarterback that can get it done outdoors. Like, that's a major issue. Personally, I thought the game was just, I don't want to call it a fluke because I think Buffalo's the hottest team in football at this point after that win especially, but they just got James
don't even
cooked.
get me started. We'll talk about that game here in a minute.
So on Dallas, I'm not unsold on Dallas on
all I'm
one
saying
game.
is they remind me a lot of the Lions.
I'll be honest.
Dallas?
And going outside, they remind me a lot of
You're talking about Dallas? I think Dallas is better than the Lions, but
Dallas will beat Detroit in Dallas in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then luckily, we won't have to go back there to play, so it'll be irrelevant.
Yeah.
But
he's got superpowers at home. The source of his powers is fucking all the inbreds in Texas.
Hey, you know what I'm going to like is, though, because I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to take the Lions against Dallas in that game.
You've been saying it for weeks.
Okay.
I
I've
love
been saying
that.
it for weeks.
I'm hyped for that.
I'm taking the Lions to knock off Dallas because I think once they knock off Dallas and they secure that number 2 spot, because that's what'll fucking happen, and then they get that fucking that first game at home, it's going to be everything. I'm telling you.
they're not playing that game at home.
Yeah, they are.
You're talking about the
Detroit.
Lions getting that first game at home?
Try to be playing that first game at home.
Oh, but
That's-
yeah,
that's
they're
gonna
going to
happen
clinch
no
that
matter
number
what.
2 spot if they knock out Dallas.
Yeah, but if they get the 3, they still play the first game at home.
True. But I want them out that 2 spot. I want that 2 spot.
ain't gonna happen. What's
That's
gonna
what I
happen
want.
is next week Detroit will beat Minnesota handedly. Okay, then they will go to Dallas and they will look like dog shit. They will get fucking stomped out.
I don't
It'll
think
be
it's
an
going to happen.
awful
I think you're gonna
fucking
see a
game.
different
I
team
think it's going to be a
down.
closer game. I don't think they're going to get stomped
They're gonna
out,
look awful.
but Dallas is going to win.
And then they'll have a close game with Minnesota to end the year, and everybody will start to, again, that they're going to go into the playoffs.
They're going to start Teddy Bridgewater the last game of the year because he's retiring, and that's the
Exactly.
team that drafted him. That's how that's going to
There's
go.
this.
Possibly.
You have to remember what Dallas does. Dallas will not choke against the Lions. Dallas will choke against fucking Tampa Bay week 1
They
of the fucking
ought to
playoffs.
see Dak Prescott talk about being MVP after the Lions go in there and kick their ass.
But see, this is the hard time I have with that. What leads you to okay, there were things that led me to believe that Detroit would beat Dallas. What's leading you to believe that Detroit's going to beat Denver?
Say that again.
There were things that led me to believe Detroit was going to beat Denver. Okay?
You had it flip-flop the first time.
Sorry. The biggest glaring thing was, which I was spot on about, was Denver allows the most yards to running backs. And I said that Detroit would run rampant on them,
Different.
and they did.
Like I said, Denver is coming off a streak where they won 6 of 7 games. They beat Buffalo. They beat Kansas
Buffalo doesn't
City.
have a running game. Kansas City doesn't have
Okay.
a running game.
They beat Miami.
Miami's running backs were dead when they played.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can
Yes,
say
it
whatever the
does.
fuck you
Yes,
wanna-
it does
You
matter.
can say whatever the fuck you want to say. They started 0-6,
That's great. But at the end of the
and they
day,
turned it around. They won fucking 6.
they
out
are
of
the
7.
worst
Right?
team against the run.
Whatever.
They play. They beat
Whatever.
a
I'm not
bunch
going to
of
sit
teams.
here and debate with you about it.
But I'm asking
You're
you,
asking me why
What
I think
leads you to
Denver was going to
believe-
beat them?
No,
No.
what makes, he wants to
Denver
know.
was hot.
He wants to know what
Doesn't
makes you
listen.
think. He wants to know what makes you think the Lions are going to go in and beat Dallas next week, other than the intangibles.
Because
other
I'm
than the
going to say this. It's inside. Jared Goff on the road, but it's inside. And that's a night game, no?
Yeah, it is. It's a Saturday night game.
Saturday night
Say
again.
what?
It's
What's
Saturday
the
night.
record in Saturday night in night games right now?
What?
They're 4-0. The Lions are 4-0.
He's
In
right.
games past fucking 4 o'clock.
Man's right. They're 4-0 in prime time.
Suck a dick. In prime
That's
time,
a
they're
smoke
4-0.
and mirrors thing.
Whatever,
For
dude.
somebody who says
Whatever.
I go by what's on the thing.
Yes.
Denver gets gouged every week by running backs.
Listen, I watched fucking what's his name's little brother, Cook. James Cook
Destroy Dallas.
absolutely destroy Dallas.
Well, okay.
You don't think that fucking Gibbs and
Thank you.
fucking what's his name could destroy them?
There we go.
That's what he was looking
Now
for.
we
Yes or
finally
no?
got to what I was asking 5
The,
minutes
the
ago.
answer
Yes.
is yes. They're capable, but that's what he was
Yes,
looking
as
for.
long as Ragnow is in there. Taylor Decker's been playing on one leg for 6 weeks. And as long as they're fucking in there and ready to go, they could win that game easily. I think they could beat them easily. If they control the fucking clock and control the line of scrimmage. That's the key. You got to run. You got to go to Dallas. You got to run the ball 40 times at Dallas.
But they're not going to do that.
You got to keep fucking Dak Prescott on the
They're
side.
not going to do that.
And see,
And
this
that's
is
why
my
they're going to
problem
lose.
with Ben Johnson. Okay, and I'm going to tell you it right now, and this could come back to haunt them later. If they don't figure out a way to continue to get these 8 and 9 minute drives in the second half to run time off the clock, they will start losing these games because they're getting into shootouts. We don't want that. You want them to control the game, get up, control the game, use those 2 fucking running backs you got, use the play action, keep moving that ball down the field at 5, 10 fucking yards at a time. You don't need the big shot. You need to control the clock with a team like that. That's how you beat a team like Dallas.
I agree with you 100%.
It's how San Francisco fucking beat them.
And that's the fifth thing. The fifth thing is that the Lions were on script on Saturday. The game was scripted perfectly. They were on script. It started with, you know how we don't get in trouble? We don't go down 7-0 early. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to start with the ball. Didn't really matter because they ended up punting. It was a decent drive to start the game, but they ended up punting. If they stay on script and they run the ball well enough, they take time off the clock, they don't get the penalties that stall drives, if they get chunk plays, 5-6 yards here and there, if they stay on script, good things will happen no matter who
they
they're
average
playing.
over 5 yards per carry.
Well, yeah,
Doesn't
if you average
matter
over
who's
5
back
yards
there,
per
it's over
carry,
5 yards per carry.
you average over 5 yards per carry. Hypothetically, you could just keep running the ball until no one can stop
Absolutely.
you.
You
can
beat the
have
fuck out of
you
them.
can have your way. And they stayed on script, and that's key. And you got to do whatever you can to stay on script. And if you do,
San Francisco. Look at San Francisco. Anybody watch San Francisco game yesterday?
oh yeah,
Anybody watch it?
yeah.
Yeah. You seen what it was now? I mean, some of
Yeah.
the plays were lucky as
They
fuck.
they dominate
But,
they dominate the tempo from the start of the game. They
Right.
dominate the tempo, no matter how it is. If it's Purdy, if it's McCaffrey, if it's fucking
McCaffrey's
Ayuk,
a fucking animal, dude.
he's an animal.
Fucking guy's wide open in the passing game. Running the ball, he touches it, he gets a fucking carry, he's gone. I mean, nobody's touching him. It takes your safeties are the ones trying to make a play on him 10 yards down the field. That's an offensive line there. When you got a line blowing the fucking defense 10 yards back before this guy even gets a fucking hand put on him, I was like, Jesus Christ.
I'm ready when you guys are on the Lions.
Okay, let's go to Saturday. Saturday. Minnesota headed into Cincinnati to play the Bengals. This game was a shit show. At the end of the third quarter, it was a 17-3 Minnesota lead. Cincinnati puts up 21 in the fourth to send it to overtime. Minnesota wins the toss. Cincinnati ultimately gets the ball back, kicks a field goal, and wins this one 27-24. Big win for the Lions in this game, realistically, and a big win for Cincinnati, keeping in lockstep in this wild card race. Jake Browning, another pretty fucking nice game. 29 for 42, 324, 2 touchdowns and a pick. It's QBR 98. Joe Mixon, 10 for 47 and a touchdown. Chase Brown, 7 for 23. Jamar Chase, 4 for 64. T. Higgins had 2 touchdowns for the Bengals.
That Higgins
He had a sweet-ass touchdown.
That was
disgusting.
fucking incredible.
love how
I
he
watched
reached
that
out
whole
and grabbed that.
fourth quarter. I don't know if you guys
So,
caught
yeah,
it.
I was
The
watching.
fourth quarter was outstanding.
Fabulous.
And the Higgins touchdown, just the presence of mind. He's an elite wide receiver. And someone like Kansas City, pay the fuck out of that guy. Go get T. Higgins. Kelsey's going to retire. You take the money you're going to give Kelsey and you give it to T. Higgins. And you pay the shit out of him because that guy is exactly what you need.
100%. Jordan Addison, 6 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Monster game for him. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 84. Hawkinson, 6 for 63. Ty Chandler, 23 for 132 and a touchdown, while Mattinson was out hurt. Nick Mullins, 26 for 33, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Big win for Cincinnati. Big win, come back, come
Yeah,
from
they're still
behind.
in it.
They're in the wild card. They're the 6th seed right
Bengals
now.
Browns is going to
They're
be
still in it?
insane. Bengals Browns is going to be for all the marbles. Honestly, they could both get in, but I think it's going to come down to whoever wins that game ultimately gets in because of the way the Bills are surging right now and the way whatever's going on with Colts Jags. Whatever happens in that division, it's going to come down to Bengals and Browns. And they both are playing decent football right now.
Well, the one that really complicated things was Houston winning a game that they should that nobody had them winning.
Yeah,
but
still in it.
they're still very much in it too. So the other thing about this is Minnesota now. Minnesota's in a kind of a clusterfuck situation because you have Minnesota at 7-7. You have 2 of the NFC South teams at 7-7. Atlanta 6-8. The Rams 7-7. Seattle, if Seattle somehow wins tonight or either way. They're either going to be 6-8 or 7-7 in that jumble right there. If Minnesota drops both to Detroit, they're not in the playoffs. They're out of it.
I think if they drop 2 games, they're out of it.
Yeah, realistically.
Not even the 2 Detroit games. I think there's another game.
They play the Packers.
Yeah,
The Packers,
the Packers
drop that.
game,
They're
That
out.
game's gonna have a lot of implications.
it has the weight of the
Yeah.
world on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the Packers, I mean, what do you say about them? At this point,
They're junk. They're junk. I think
they're
Packers are
starting to
junk.
get into trouble.
Yeah, but do we think Minnesota's any better?
No,
I don't. I think they're both junk.
there's.
I can't believe they're still in the wild card, those 2 teams.
Well, it's because of the damage Minnesota
Yeah.
did in the middle weeks, and the
Yeah.
Packers did a lot of damage recently, and they got some wins at the beginning of the year.
I
Listen,
just think
it's-
there's other teams deservedly better than they are.
the only thing that's clear is that somewhere 5-6 is going to be Rams, Cowboys, Eagles. One of
Right.
whoever loses the East plus Rams,
The Rams,
and then it's just
the
a
Rams
matter
are
of what
on a
happens from
roll
there.
right now. They're playing pretty good football.
and they got a really easy schedule going forward too. Well, I
They
don't know
got
if
to play
it's really
San
easy.
Francisco.
San Francisco, and then after that though, they play the Giants, and then I think they might play the Cardinals,
Somebody like that.
Who?
Listen, don't sleep on the
the
Cardinals, dude.
the Rams.
Cardinals played that game tough yesterday. They got away from them at the end, but they played tough until about the third quarter, end of the third quarter.
It's important to remember. So the Rams are playing great, but they're not beating great teams.
Yeah.
And a lot of these teams are still in the game. Like the Rams still have their guys out on the field, and they're still full gas at the end of the fourth quarter against bad teams every week.
Right.
So I think it's a little tricky.
The Rams play New Orleans next week, then at the Giants.
That's
and then
another
at
huge
Frisco.
game. The New Orleans game is huge. I think
It's
the Rams.
Thursday night against New Orleans.
Oh, it's a good Thursday night game,
Yeah, it
actually.
is.
I think the Rams are going to crush them, or at least they should. But, I mean, implication-wise, that's huge for both of those teams.
Listen, I know you guys are
Derek
both,
Carr had 3 touchdowns yesterday.
you guys are both big on the Rams right now. This Rams team, it's they just can't put anybody away.
Okay,
You know what, dude? I'm
Agree. I just
shocked
said
that
that.
they're where they're at.
No,
I
know.
just said that. But also, like, who else are you going to be big on? Someone's got to get in. Someone has to get in. So, and they're the
You
team.
think
If
they're better than the
the Rams look better
Packers?
than the Vikings, the Packers, and the
Yeah.
Seahawks right now. They're
Yeah.
they're
Yes,
the they're
I agree
the they're the cut above, and they're not even that great.
Thi-
Not that they're not that
think
great.
about
but
what they've turned over.
yeah,
They're where they're at. That's, to me, is more amazing than anything else.
You want to know what's fucked up? That now that I realize they played that New Orleans game is fucking huge.
it's big.
It is huge.
That's a big game because New Orleans needs it to win the division, and the Rams need it to hold court because
Right.
someone has to. It's just as someone has to get in the South, someone has to get in the North wild card, which is Packers or Vikings. One of those teams probably has to get in unless
want-
Seattle surges.
Well, you want to know what's fucked up? If New Orleans wins that game, all right, and Tampa and Atlanta, because they both play, you could have a fucked up situation where neither of the North teams get in, and it's the Rams, and you could have 2 of those the dumpster fires in the NFC South in there.
yeah, they both have to get to 9-8 to make it happen.
They
Though.
both have to get to 9-8. And so that New Orleans game's huge. Moving on, second game on Saturday. Pittsburgh headed to Indianapolis to play Gardner Minshew and the Colts. Indianapolis gets a step ahead over Pittsburgh, going to 8-6, and they win this game pretty definitively, 30-13.
That game was not close whatsoever.
No, and the people that the Colts were using to fucking win this, Trey Sermon led the team in rushing, 17
Yeah, he
for
was
88.
like the 4th string running back in San Francisco.
Tyler Goodson, 11
Yeah.
for
What
69.
was Anthony Richardson a rotator cuff? He can't come back, right?
He cannot come back.
No,
I mean, it doesn't
Zach
matter.
Moss done
Oh,
for the
there's
year.
like-
Minshew had
After this
3 or
week-
4 TDs, right?
he had to be activated before this week, and they couldn't do
They
it.
didn't do it. Zach Moss got hurt in this game. Michael Pittman is dead.
No, he's not. He'll be fine. He'll be back next week.
Do you want to talk about that hit now?
What, the Michael Pittman one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was bullshit.
Okay. Now let's
It's a bang bang play. It doesn't deserve that does not warrant this guy to get fucking suspended for the rest of the year. That does not do that.
I
You
agree.
want to give him a game, you want to fine him, fine. But to suspend him indefinitely, come on, dude. What are we doing here?
You know what's hard for me to understand about the people that are making these, and it's going to an appeal board now, but it's hard for me to understand these guys who are in this NFL office who are supposed to know football to look at a play like that and say, what's the other
So
outcome?
Tom Brady already came out fucking
Brady
2 weeks
ripped,
ago.
Well, he ripped it apart
and he
again
ripped
today.
every quarterback in the
Yeah.
league talking about, you guys to a guy. If I knew he was going to get fucking Ray Lewis.
Here's what
He said it himself.
Here's what he said. Nobody likes seeing players get hurt, but hard hits happen. Quarterbacks should not be throwing the ball in areas where they are exposing their own teammates to these types of hits. Coaches need to coach better. Quarterbacks need to read coverages and throw the ball into the right places. And defenders should aim for the right hitting areas. To put the blame on the defensive player all the time is flat out wrong. We need better quarterback play. It's not okay, quarterbacks, to get your wide receivers hit because of your bad decisions. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying it because I'm a Brady slappy, because I think you can agree with that.
I just said I agreed with him.
At the end of the day, that was Gardner Minshew not placing that ball correctly. I don't understand how you, if you work in the NFL office and you're watching that, can see that. What was he supposed to do?
Yeah, but this has happened all year. This has been going on. This isn't something that just
But this one was
started
this
this
is
game.
the exclamation point one, because it was so bang bang. They were in such a bad
big
spot.
hit. We've already seen more than that. The guy from Denver, Kareem Jackson, got fucking suspended for playing hard because playing how he was taught to play the game. And they fucking suspended him and they fined him more than what he's made this year for the same shit. You need to fucking stop. They need to take the fucking diapers off these guys. It is what it is, dude. This game is physical. This is why you pay these assholes the money you pay them. They know the fucking risk going in. That's bullshit, dude. Stop it. Stop it. It's a fucking gladiator sport. It's supposed to be that way. That's what it's supposed to be. If you're going to take the physicality out of fucking football like they took fighting out of hockey, you will ruin your fucking sport. Period. You will fucking ruin football and nobody will watch it anymore. I'm to the point where I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't even get me started. I'm going to start on this fucking roughing the passer shit next. Go ahead.
Pittsburgh going forward plays Cincinnati, then they're at Seattle and at Baltimore. Do we see it? Do we see them winning any of those?
Loss.
So then that would mean Pittsburgh losing 6 straight to end the year.
If Geno Smith comes back, it's in Seattle. So if Geno Smith comes back,
They might have a chance to win that. If he's
No,
back.
I think if Drew
If Geno
Lock
Smith
plays-
is back, they'll win that.
Yeah, if Geno Smith, you think Pittsburgh will win if Geno Smith's back?
No, I think
Yeah. Yeah,
Seahawks will win.
Seattle will probably win if Geno Smith's back for that.
Right.
Yeah,
Because what were they going to put out there? Who'd you say? Mason
Rudolph's going to start.
Yeah,
There's
Rudolph
other things
the
to talk
Red-Nosed
about though.
Reindeer.
Did you guys
Goodbye.
see the effort from George Pickens
Awesome.
and just Najee Harris doesn't know how to pick run lanes anymore.
They've-
It's just all bad.
Mike
There is no
Tomlin.
run
Mike
lanes,
Tomlin,
that's why.
Mike Tomlin has lost that locker room at this point.
I think so.
You know what? I don't think you could blame him, dude.
No, you can't.
Can't blame him. He doesn't have a fucking quarterback. He knows it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Listen,
but you
I
wanna-
don't know if it was him or the GM that is the one controlling all that over there, but sooner or later he's going to have to make a decision what he wants.
When I see guys that don't give effort, that's the head coach.
That's the head
That's,
coach.
Oh yeah,
that's how it was
we've
with Matt
seen that
Patricia.
here for decades.
Hey, listen. Look at the situation like the Colts,
Yeah.
where they lost their guy, fucking week 2, 3, whatever it was.
Well,
and that
the
team's
guy
still
that they
playing
lost
hard.
is not that great anyway.
They lost their starting guy,
Yeah,
and they're still playing hard.
yeah, they got Gardner Mustache in there. He's done
Exactly.
We got to give a
serviceable
quick shout out to
job.
Rocky Oxford who entered the chat.
Oh, hey, Rocky Oxford, how's it going?
Hope Columbia's
He's
doing
done
well.
a pretty
You know what?
good job.
Mike Tomlin's has gotten a lot of praise for a very, very long time because they've been above 500 every year. But at the end of the
Ben
day,
Roethlisberger, well, listen, when you come into a team that's got a guy like Ben Roethlisberger at the
and you
helm,
pick up a ring,
and you get a fucking ring here,
Yeah.
a ring there, and then you're constantly in the playoffs for fucking most of 15 years. Guess what? That was nice. But now they're in rebuild. Sort of like what's going on in New England. You're in rebuild.
I'm happy you
and,
said
and
it.
you're fucking in
I'm
limbo.
happy you said it. I want you guys to know that unless, in order to compete in that division going forward, which is 5+ years of Lamar Jackson,
They have
5+
to tear
years
the
of Joe Burrow, you can't win with Steeler D anymore. It's
Yeah.
proven it.
Right, right.
You got to go get a
Well,
quarterback.
you know
and you gotta
what?
have a
You can't
prolific
really say that
offense.
because look at what they've done. At one point, going
20
about
years
3
ago.
games back, when Pickett was still in there, they were tied for the fucking division lead, dude.
That's because they were
With
they're
Pickett.
out kicking their coverage with their defense. Their defense was
Correct.
keeping in games they had no business being in when they were getting out-yarded, outgained, and all that. And that's a fluke. That's a fluke stat, in my opinion. The
Well,
wins that go with it.
They're plus in the turnovers with the defense.
Yeah, that
and,
too. That
and
too.
that's what keeps them in it.
It matters, but if you want to compete in that division going forward, you need to start getting that offense in a place that can compete with Lamar Jackson and that can compete with Joe Burrow.
I think they have pieces. It's not like they don't have guys. I like Deontay Johnson.
I'm starting to hate George
Pickens is better than what we thought he was.
I'm starting to
Freiermuth
think he's
is good.
Freiermuth he's
You know
been
what
great.
they
since he's
need?
been
They
back.
need help up front because they have to commit to running the football, and they need help up front.
Next up, the Chicago Bears headed into the dog pound in Cleveland to play the Browns. The Browns are now 9-5, sitting second in the AFC North. Chicago falls to 5-9 as Cleveland wins this game 20-17, and it was a 17-7 game going into the fourth fucking quarter.
And Chicago lost it.
And guess what? I was texting Zolo about the Flacco debacle and how I called that one spot on, and this motherfucker found a fucking way.
No, don't get it twisted. He for sure came back down to earth for those 3 quarters, but I don't think they won in spite of Flacco. But we can't knock the Njoku thing anymore. We can't knock the Flacco and Njoku connection's real. It's a real thing. It's very good. And
Yeah, I know. I
Flacco's
played against Njoku this week. What do you have, 28?
yeah, I mean he popped off.
Dude. Come on.
10 for 104 and a touchdown.
So
Look at that.
we
On a
can't
tight end.
we can't discredit. Obviously, we can't discredit the Browns' defense. Of course, Myles Garrett's Defensive Player of the Year. He's playing with no fucking shoulder right now, no rotator cuff, and it's impressive. And Joe Flacco is going to have them just enough in these games that they should be able to do what they did. I mean, that was a bad team and they got lucky. But if they don't come out flat offensively, they don't come out flat. They put Flacco in good position to make some throws. They pound the ball with Ford and Hunt.
Dude,
Okay,
who's lost
they're
more
gonna
than
shot.
Cleveland? Seriously.
I don't think anybody.
They lost a fucking top 3 running
it's
back.
funny. It's funny you say that because
Yeah.
I saw a really good article this morning about how Kevin Stefanski hasn't bitched at all. He hasn't complained. They've lost everyone. They lost their quarterback, their offensive line. They're down their center. They've lost guys on defense. They lost Nick Chubb, and I saw an article comparing
Delpit,
him.
They just lost him.
I saw an article comparing him to Amu
Delp,
Bob.
Grant Delp, they lost him.
And I saw an article comparing him to Amu Bob and how Amu Bob has no excuses because he had a better defense going into the year, and the Jets have just been really bad no matter what. Whereas they signed Flacco off the street, and Flacco's, he's not lighting it up, but he's playing really well, and he's playing
At a
serviceable.
high level.
So the Jets have Bob Saleh has no excuse right now because if you look in the mirror and you look at Kevin Stefanski, who I don't think he should be coach of the year, he'll probably win coach of the year if the Browns get into the playoffs the way things have gone. If you look at Kevin Stefanski, he hasn't complained, and on top of that, they have 9 wins, and they're still in it.
I think it's either going to be, the fuck his name, Mike McDaniels.
No,
I think
Stefanski.
it could be him. I think it could be Dan Campbell.
Mike McDaniel or Kevin Stefanski has one less win with way less talent offensively.
Yeah, but Dan Campbell's done something that hasn't been done in 30
Dan
years.
Campbell's the exception. I think
Yeah.
if the Lions get to 13 wins, Dan Campbell for sure wins.
Yeah.
But right now, it's got to be Kevin Stefanski as coach of the year. I can't see anyone else because D'Amico Ryans is going to be in the conversation.
We got to see what's going to happen with Jacksonville here. I'm just, if I was them right now, dude, I would be smashing my balls onto the fucking in the desk drawer right now because I wouldn't even know what to think at this point. I'd be losing my mind if I was them.
We're going to get there because I have a lot to say on that one.
Team that everybody was high on.
Listen,
Go ahead, go to the next game. We'll get to Sunday.
I
night.
hate Cleveland.
Fuck that. I like Cleveland.
But what do you
fuck-
think?
I
Okay,
wish them the
look at that.
best.
I hate Cleveland too. It's
What
a
do
bunch
I-
of
I'm gonna be
fucking
barking at
filthy
the end of the
inbreds.
fucking year if they
There was a
make it.
wide shot of the crowd before the field goal, and I just saw inbred, white trash, ugly,
Terrible.
disgusting,
That's a
inbred.
terrible analogy,
I hate
bud.
Cleveland too.
I like those people. I would be sitting right next to them.
No,
And
not
barking.
me. Not me. They'll
My
pickpocket
big
you.
fucking dog.
Can I-
They'll pickpocket you and then dissect your wallet in the coal mine and then beat the shit out of each other.
I just this is what irritates me about them. All right, if you look at this schedule, okay, they lost to Seattle in Seattle. Okay, then they ass raped the Cardinals. Okay, then by the grace of God, they gave Baltimore one of their 3 losses in a divisional game. Okay, then they beat the dumpster fire that is Pittsburgh before it completely went into the shit. That
Actually, they beat Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett at playing their highest level.
does Pittsburgh's highest level
Pittsburgh was
is.
still in it then. They were still tied.
I
They were
don't
undefeated
care.
in
I don't
division.
care.
Pittsburgh's
There's dog
highest
shit.
level is when
It's-
the water's at the top of the toilet bowl before
Yeah.
it gets flushed.
Then they lost at Denver, bad. Then they lost to the Rams, pretty bad. Two teams that could be playoff teams, right? Then they beat Jacksonville as the entire team gets hurt.
Listen, can I stop you? I'm not going to debate that they're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, you can hate them and you can do all you want. It's not their fault that their schedule sucks and they're beating bad teams. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying they're doing enough to get in, and they are. You can't deny that. They have 9 wins. They have 9 wins. 9 wins would soundly put them at the 6th seed in the NFC right now. Soundly. No issue.
They beat Chicago by a field goal.
Barely beat Chicago. They
Barely.
Chicago needed to choke.
Correct. Then they go play a Houston team this week that's decimated. Then go play a Jets team that's had their asshole torn out, and then finish the year at Cincinnati.
But that's not their fault.
That's not
I
their
know,
schedule.
but
Is not their
I
fault.
fucking hate it. I hate it.
That's like they're just making the most of. Like that's how it works. That's why there's turnover in the league. Like they can't do anything about that. I think they'd get fucked by I don't know.
Anybody that's worth a fuck.
I think they'd push Kansas City personally, but other than that, I think they get fucked by a lot of teams. But that's not their fault if they win 11 or 12 games. And their defense, you cannot deny, will keep them in any game. Like they're not going to get blown out by any team. You know, it just is what it is.
Imagine if they had Chubb. Just Chubb.
Okay.
Just Chubb alone.
Yeah, then you'd
serviceable
have.
offense
Then
in
you would.
general.
No, don't say just Chubb. All right.
Just Chubb in general. Imagine if they had him right now. Fuck you. Chubb is a top 3 back in this league.
Yeah, he is, but it doesn't make up for. It doesn't make. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve.
Whatever,
it.
they deserve
They're
it.
beating the
They
teams.
didn't deserve it, they
have
wouldn't
the
be there.
They have the wins, and if they're frauds, it'll get found
It'll
out.
get exposed quick.
Because frauds don't make the Super Bowl. Frauds maybe once in a while will win a playoff game, maybe, but frauds get exposed in the playoffs.
No, frauds get exposed like fucking the Vikings got exposed last week.
Exactly. Frauds
They
get
were the
exposed
fraud.
in
They
the
were
playoffs.
exposed in the first round.
Everyone knew they were
And
going to
they
lose
got
that game, and they
fucking
lost. Yeah, exactly. Frauds get exposed
That's
in the playoffs.
Cleveland.
Well, we'll see.
That's Cleveland.
What
Is
happens.
you want to know what? Thank you, whoever said it. Cleveland is last year's Minnesota, to a T, perfectly.
We'll see. I don't believe that.
No, I think it's got to be a division winner if you're going to compare him to last year's Minnesota.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers headed up to Lambeau Field to play the Green Bay Packers. Tampa Bay is now 7-7, 500 in first place in the NFC South, while Green Bay falls to 6-8. Tampa comes out on top in this one, 34-20.
Baker, Ball, or Mayfield?
Baker had a career game, 22 of 28, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, 158 passer rating.
He's the first opposing quarterback in the history of Lambeau Field to have a perfect passer rating.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yep.
Rashad White, 21 for 89. Chris Godwin, 10 for 155. Whoever the fuck David Moore is, 2 for 68 and a 52-yard touchdown. Mike Evans, 4 for 57 and a touchdown. Rashad White caught a touchdown through the air, as did Keefe. Blast from the past there. Jordan Love, 29 for 39, 284 and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 13 for 53. Dontavian Wicks, 6 for 97. Tucker Kraft, Jaden Reed, both had touchdown receptions for the Pack. I know you guys are gonna talk shit. This game told me more about Green Bay than it did about Tampa Bay.
No. But
don't
it's
agree with
okay. No,
I don't
agree
agree with that.
I agree. It said more about Green Bay, but it still said a lot about Tampa. We still learn a lot about Tampa. I'm sorry.
Say
You
what you
still
want to say about
you got
fucking-
the scope on.
Listen, I hate
You got the
Todd
scope on.
Bowles with a motherfucking passion. Okay? Only one person I hate worse. Well, let me take that back. There's two people I hate worse than Todd Bowles. One's in Dallas, the other one's in Seattle.
What about the
Say
one
what you
behind
want
the
to say.
computer?
This asshole keeps winning.
So I think the Packers have been garbage. I think they're fraudulent.
Yeah, I did.
But when you go into Lambeau as a warm weather team in December and you beat a team that's relatively hot, I know they were coming off a loss on a short week, but when you beat the Packers at home, you know who this says a lot about this game? You're going to fucking hate this. You know what's coming. It's Baker Mayfield.
Come on, man.
Yeah. You're going to hate it. You're going to be real pissed when they win the division.
I'm
Really
going to be
pissed.
so pissed when they win the division. Because
Oh, I think
you want to know all this
they
is
made
gonna-
a statement in this game.
all this
Yeah.
does
Total
is
am.
enable them. You realize that. They're going to win the division. They're going to get ass raped
Brother,
by Tampa Bay in the first round, and Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield to be back to win 9 games again next year and get ass raped by Dallas.
that's
in
the
first
whole
round.
thing is someone has to win the division. It's not their fault that they're going to do it. That's exactly what's going to happen.
That's exactly
That's exactly what's going to happen. But someone has to win the division. It is what it is. So there's another underrated
you doing,
storyline
dude?
What?
with Baker.
Why do you got your legs all pulled up around your shoulders for?
I have them under my arms, dude.
I don't. What are you
He's
looking
choking
for?
himself. While
Are
he
you looking for
pleasures
something over
himself.
there? Are you trying
What were
to
you
suck your
saying?
own penis over
Maybe I
there?
am.
Can we
Trying
focus
to
here?
see how
What?
close I can get.
What?
They made another good hire in the offseason. They got a guy that's been with Pete Carroll for a decade, over a decade. But what's his name? The offensive coordinator for Tampa. He was a strength guy, and he just worked his way to the top.
Dave Canals?
So Dave Canales has revitalized. Of course, Baker's had some bad games this year, but like if we're painting the picture of the entire year, Baker's putting up one of the best seasons he's had in his career, and you can make a case for him on comeback player of the year. And there's a reason they're in it right now, and it's no longer their defense; it's him. It's Baker Mayfield, and that was a big win. He did something that a lot of people have failed to do over the years, and that's Dave Canales coming in from Seattle and completely revitalizing the way they utilize Baker. And they got offensively, I'd love to see them take a quarterback. I'd love to see them have a shot at it, but they have pieces to work with. You re-sign Mike Evans. You still have Godwin. The tight ends are solid. Rashad White's probably a top 3 running back in the league. He's an every down back. He doesn't come out of the game.
Right, and you can add to it and build to that offensive line.
Yeah.
Maybe get some guys on that inside to help Vita Vea.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. You could have something going there.
Are they going to get butt fucked by Dallas or Philly in round 1?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not.
Of course.
Maybe not.
Yes,
they got to go
come
there.
on,
I
dude.
think so. I think they're going to lose in round
They got
1.
a chance to play at home, and somebody's got to go down.
What do you
there
mean
and
play at
fucking
home?
be easy.
What kind of advantage
What
do
would
you
be-
have playing in
What would be
Tampa?
interesting is that was
It's warm that time of the year.
a Monday night
Guys
game.
up here can go out there and fucking play in that.
Philly and
Play in
Tampa was an
70 and
early
70,
Monday night game.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Philly and Tampa was an early Monday night game, and remember we looked at it. I was like, Philly didn't look great, but they still won. I'd love to see Philly somehow get to 5 and see that game played over now and see how it goes now. I'd be really curious to see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'd still pick Philly, but I don't know. I'm with you. It
Those
says more about
guys
the
be
Packers.
cramping up before the half.
It says more about the
Oh,
Packers. The
Jesus.
Packers are out of the North, by the way. The Packers cannot win the NFC North officially. Get fucked. I was worried about that. Not worried about them winning the North, but I was worried about their surge 3 weeks
Everybody
ago.
was worried about it.
And things changed, but I still think you got to give props to Tampa. I think that someone's got to win that division. I know you hate
Right.
hearing it, but someone's got to win that division.
I'm not
And I
giving
think it's
Tampa
them.
shit. I'm not giving them shit until they win the division.
Anyway.
Because hold on, real quick. They have to play Jacksonville this week, which if they're legit, they should win. Then they have to play New Orleans for all the motherfucking marbles. Okay?
They'll beat New
You
Orleans.
just don't want to see Tom Brady's team do some
You were big on Derek Carr having 3
I
touchdowns
think
this
they'll
week.
I think they'll beat New Orleans at this point. I think Baker's hot, and I think they'll beat New Orleans. They'll do something that Tom Brady couldn't do.
I've had just about enough of today already. I'm just.
That's
about-
because all the
That your
teams
little
that you
spit bottle is that
the
what I
teams
just
you
see you
needed
spit
to
in that
win or
bottle?
wanted to win didn't
Exactly
win.
what you
You can't blame these
fucking
teams.
bullshit. I'm blaming the goddamn teams. This is bullshit. Tampa Bay is dog. Why do you guys root for dog shit?
Why
I don't root
you
for anything.
Fucking Atlanta.
Wait, hold on. That's not true. I rooted for Tampa Bay because they
Hey,
played the Packers
he's rooting
yesterday.
for fucking Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Atlanta's got a nice,
What are
cute
you
underdog
tell me
story.
that
Can we go
Desmond
to that
Ritter's
game?
better than Baker Mayfield?
Can we go to that game? Because I have a perfect analogy on Atlanta. Can we go there yet or no?
Let's go there.
I mean, if you really want to go there, we can go.
We got to go there at some point.
The Atlanta Falcons headed to Carolina to play the Panthers. Carolina only had one win before this game, but came out of it with two, as Carolina defeats the Atlanta Falcons 9-7. Atlanta falls to 6-8 and third in the NFC South.
I asked you on Friday, what if? I picked the
Now,
Falcons.
at this point, does Arthur Smith deserve to lose his fucking job?
No.
Hold on, I want to touch that. But first, I asked you what
Go
if.
ahead.
What if now? What if? What are you thinking at this point?
Okay. This is what I'm thinking. It's not looking great. Right? It's not looking great. But the Falcons play Indianapolis this week.
Loss.
You're shook
Okay,
right now.
hold
Loss.
on. I don't think they're going to beat Indianapolis, but hypothetically, let's say they somehow
That's another huge. There's so many
huge game.
mid-level games.
All right.
I've never seen a slate at the end of the year with so many huge fucking games between teams you didn't think would be playing in huge games. That's a huge game.
Okay, Christmas Eve in Atlanta.
Loss.
You're the big home field advantage guy.
Loss.
In Atlanta against Indy. If they can win that game. I don't know if I would pick them to win it right now. If they win it. The following week they play Chicago. Okay?
Loss.
And then if New Orleans beats Tampa, week 18, Atlanta will be playing at the Superdome to win the division.
I see 3 losses. I see them losing in Chicago. I see them losing this weekend. This is the one they need. They need this game against the Colts. It's the most winnable of the 3 games, in my opinion.
No, see, listen. You got to remember, they won against the Jets at New York. Okay, they won at Tampa Bay and then lost the Tampa Bay game at home by 4 points. It's awful. It's dog shit, but it's dog shit with a hint of hope.
They have to
because
go,
they win
gotta
games
go
they
to
shouldn't.
Chicago.
They're losing in Chicago.
Yes.
They're losing in Chicago.
I don't think they're losing in Chicago.
Oh, I do.
I don't.
They're not going to be ready for that cold.
Okay, so right here, right now, do you think Atlanta still wins the division?
No, I don't. But I'm still hopeful.
Simple enough. I'm not
I'm
going to press
still
you any
hopeful.
further. On what you said, Arthur Smith is starting to have that fucking dumbfounded dumb fuck look on his
It's almost
face.
like, hey, he's starting to lose these guys.
Yeah.
And that scares me.
He's got that.
He never had him to
He's got
lose.
that. Oh yeah, we
I
might
don't
make a change
believe
at
that.
quarterback look on his face. They're going. They're going
I
back
mean,
to.
what are
they're
we
going
gonna
back
do?
to
Keep shuffling
Heineke.
them guys around. That ain't going to help.
Can I
It's
ask
the
you
signing
something?
of a team. I got a good analogy when you guys are done here.
I don't think Desmond Ridder was the reason why they lost this game. I really don't.
I watched him throw a fucking horrible pick.
Okay,
where
the
he
pick-
looked like Michael Jordan, and then he just
The
threw
pick
the
was
ball.
really bad. The pick was really bad, and the pick was really embarrassing. But I don't think he was the reason why they lost this game. I think, again, and if you guys will quote me on this, I have gone back to the exact same issues with Atlanta all year. Tyler Algier had 14 runs for 45 yards. Bijan Robinson, your first overall pick, the guy who we all said all offseason should have been the lock for Rookie of the Year, the guy who was supposed to come to Atlanta and revitalize them, got 7 carries.
Okay, can I tell you what the Atlanta Falcons are right now?
Of course.
It's a fitting analogy. It's a bird analogy. The Atlanta Falcons are a plane. They're a brand new 747. They got all the bells and whistles, nice engines. There's TVs and all the screens in Drake London and Bijan Robinson and Algier.
Don't forget about Jonnu
It's
Smith.
got a great engine and Jonnu Smith and another engine on the other side and Kyle Pitts. It's got the
God,
defense.
Kyle Pitts.
It's good. But the problem is you need a pilot to fly these planes. And their pilot is
fucking
Desmond
drunk.
Ridder. It's Muhammad Atta. And what happens when you have Mohammed Atta flying the planes is they crash and burn into the fucking towers. And Mike Smith is Osama bin Laden, who's just sitting there from afar laughing. They need a pilot. They need a pilot. They really need a serviceable quarterback to utilize those weapons because they could be something. I don't think the combination of whoever the fuck is at quarterback right now with Mike Smith is going anywhere. But I think this becomes, if you fire Mike Smith, this
Arthur
becomes
Smith.
What Arthur Smith. So Mike Smith was the old Falcons
Old
coach.
Falcon.
If you fire FedEx Arthur Smith, who's a billionaire in his own right, his dad founded FedEx. If you fire Arthur Smith, this becomes a top 3 job in my opinion.
Agree.
Because you got a shot. They need to finish low, but if not, trade an asset, go get into the top 10 and get a quarterback. Go get fucking Caleb Williams. Go get May. Go try and take a shot at Michael Penix, whoever. Go get a quarterback that can take the keys to this car, the plane, and steer it away from the towers and get it up to 30,000 feet cruising altitude. That's what you need right now as a quarterback, and you need a coach to go with it too. I think this could be a great job. The pieces are there, the signs are there, but right now they're not going anywhere without a quarterback, and it's not Desmond Ridder.
Hold on now. There's one human being on earth who's a bigger Taylor Heineke fan than anyone else, and he just happens to be sitting down here.
And he's in this room.
It's very well documented how much you like Heineke, but it's very well documented.
They have no faith in him.
It's very well documented how much you love Heineke.
I like Heineke.
You don't
the way he
think
plays.
a Heineke versus Gardner Minshew matchup, you don't think Heineke has a chance?
Is he playing?
They haven't decided
They've
yet.
already clipped his wings.
No.
They clipped his wings. He knows they have no faith in him.
He
basically knows he's gone after this year.
He came out today and said that they were undecided on who was going to start this week.
There you go.
Here's the problem with the
That's the
Heineke
coaching
versus
staff.
Gardner Minshew matchup is the same reason you hate Cleveland and Tampa. It's the same drill with me with the Colts. But someone's got to win, and the Colts are winning the games. And Gardner Minshew's the Colts are actually playing good ball against bad teams. So if the Colts, that's another Coach of the Year candidate is Steichen, Shane Steichen.
Right.
If they fucking pull the division out of their ass, done, no brainer. They're winning He's winning Coach of the Year. But it's not Heineke. And it's not Desmond Ridder. It's just not. It's not going to happen. You can't do as much with those guys. You just can't do the things that they need those guys to do. Yeah, and then Mike's you throw in fucking Arthur Smith's play calling, done. Twin Towers, 9/11, crash, burn. We're done. It's over. I think they have a shot. I'm with you. They have to beat the Colts. If they don't beat the Colts, they're gonna. I already think they don't have any shot to go into Chicago in the cold and fucking beat a hot Chicago team.
Heineke does.
I don't think
Yeah, because Heineke's played up north, so
I knew
I don't have a problem.
Heineke does.
Ridder played at Cincinnati, dude.
Listen to me. Okay.
In college.
Can I concede something to you guys now? Desmond Ridder is dog shit.
Okay.
I'm ready to concede.
At least you've admitted
Desmond
it.
Ridder is dog shit. But you want to know what? He's the pile of dog shit that the sun's hitting it just at the right angle that I don't want to pick it up and throw it in the garbage can yet. There's something artistic about that pile.
They're still in the division. They still have a shot at it.
Like that's just a nice, pretty piece of dog shit still. But it's still dog shit. Anyways, we spent way too much time on a 7-9 game. 6-9, whatever the fuck it was. The New York Jets headed down to South Beach to play the Miami Dolphins in a game that meant everything for Uncle Sam.
They're officially eliminated.
In a game that meant everything for Aaron Rodgers and the egomaniac that he is, being the fastest player to ever recover from destroying his leg. Everything. This game meant everything to the Jets. And they came in and got their asshole popped by a Dolphins team without Tyreek Hill, 30-0. Officially eliminating the Jets from playoff contention. Officially ending Aaron Rodgers' year. And officially tearing Uncle Sam's heart out through.
No, wait, he might still play, right, Aaron Rodgers?
They're saying
I
it's
don't see any...
quote-unquote extremely unlikely he comes back now. Because there's real... Now...
If they would have won this game, I truly think he would have came back.
There's really no fucking reason for him to come back. What,
I
just
think
to
he's coming
say
back
you did?
anyway. He'll be back next year.
I think he's not going to come back because of the way things stand there right now.
I mean,
think
it's
things
bad.
are just so bad. I think it's actually... I think the locker room is gone.
Trevor
I wouldn't
Seaman?
have said that a month ago. I think the locker room's completely gone. They made a mess of the concussion protocol with Zach Wilson yesterday, and I just think that things are bad there. I don't know why you'd want to walk back. to that.
Baku Bob's
Well, I
have this
took
job
the
by
words out
next
of my
year?
mouth.
I think he's out.
You're a big Amu Bob guy. Is Amu Bob?
I think he's a great coach, but like I said, if you compare him and Stefanski's had the same problems and some, and hasn't bitched, and his team's right there in the thick of it. And then look at the Colts. Look at Shane Steichen. I know they play a harder schedule and an easier division, but same drill. The Colts could win their division with way more injuries on offense.
Yeah.
And I think that it's hard. Like, I love Bob Saleh.
I think he's done.
I can tell his players love him. I think it'd be a mistake to fire him, but I could see that the locker room is gone. I could see it.
Time as Dan Campbell.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What?
He said just as much time as Dan Campbell.
True.
Now,
It's true.
Yeah, I can't make excuses for him.
you have a guy in Dalvin Cook who, I mean, we talked ad nauseum about Dalvin Cook getting signed this offseason.
Cook watch.
He's gotten 67 carries so far this year. 67 carries on a team where the quarterback play has been so atrocious that it's been just a carousel of different guys.
No, I don't even
Brees
think,
Hall.
At this point, I don't think you could blame the quarterback situation on it.
No.
I blame the coordinator.
Brees Hall.
I think Hackett is absolute dog shit.
That guy fucking sucks.
Brees
He's absolute
Hall.
dog
Sean
shit.
Payton was right.
Sean Payton was right.
Brees Hall got 6 carries yesterday
Yeah.
in a game where Trevor Seaman had to come into the game to finish it
Yeah.
out. You gave Brees Hall the ball 6 times.
Yeah.
Garrett
Well,
Wilson.
That's the offensive play calling, no?
They threw the ball 37 times. Garrett Wilson was targeted 4. It's the staff. Like that, all that points to the staff.
That's your offensive coordinator.
You have a perfect out because Hackett got body bagged, and it was a whole narrative in the season. Like, get rid of the fucking guy. He's clearly the problem. You're a defensive guy. Selfishly, I hope Bob Saleh gets fired because at some point Aaron Glenn is going to leave. He is going to take a head coaching job. And I love Aaron Glenn no matter how much everyone fucking hates him. And I want Bob Saleh to come in to be my defensive coordinator because he's really good at that. No, his defense is still there. They just gave up on him.
I'd rather have than him.
At D coordinator?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Guy in Cleveland I'd rather have than him.
Who? Oh, Jim Schwartz ain't coming back here, my guy. That was
dude?
a very
you wanna know
sour firing when that
Yeah, I
happened.
know.
Hey, can I say
I don't
something?
think he deserved it at all.
You are. I'm just letting you know, and I'll forever. I'm never gonna back off of this now. You are the biggest hypocrite I've ever met.
Why
Because
would you say that?
because now that Aaron Rodgers is out for the year, you're like, oh yeah, no, you don't want the Jets anymore. And now the Eagles have let you down a little bit and brought Patricia in. Now
I wish the Jets would have won
now
that fucking
all
game.
we're
Just to
gonna hear
fist
now,
punch you.
all we're gonna hear now is Joe Flacco and fucking Jim Shorts and the fucking Cleveland Browns. That's the new fucking
new
dick
hotness.
raiser.
The new
yeah,
hotness.
That's the new fucking
Let's
cock raiser.
I already.
Jalen Waddle.
I guess you're right. Go ahead.
I know I'm right.
Yeah, you think you're right.
Let's go to Miami.
Jalen Waddle 8 for 142 and a touchdown. Durham Smythe 4 for 32. Raheem Mostert 15 for 42 and 2 touchdowns. Devin Achane 9 for 32. Tua 21 for 24, 224 yards and a touchdown. Mike White came in to finish it off because Miami I think Miami took it off the gas at halftime. So they did.
So I still haven't seen. I want you to be right about Miami because they're sexy and they're fun and I love what they have. This game doesn't count. Their next 3 fucking count.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Their next 3 count. They have.
That's why
I think it's-
Tariq sat
is it Dallas this
yesterday.
week?
It's there's a whole
I think
cornucopia
it's
of
Dallas,
fuck.
Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Yes.
And Buffalo is now like very much in the thick of it.
Oh yeah. So the next 3, they play Dallas at home this week in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to Baltimore. Then they play Buffalo at home week 18.
And
I
so,
see them possibly losing all 3 of those.
I don't see them losing one of them.
And here's the Bills. The Bills go to San Diego or LA this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Patriots game is at home. Regardless, they play the Patriots. I don't know where it is. I don't think it fucking matters.
You know what that means, right? They got to go to New England.
Well, didn't they? No, I think the Patriots beat them at home, didn't they? The first time, regardless.
Their next 3 are at the Chargers, at home against Miami, and then or at home against New England, and then at Miami,
and then at Miami.
Yeah.
So it's gonna. I disagree with you because I think Miami's losing at least one of the next.
They're going to lose to Dallas. Miami will probably lose to Dallas.
They're going to lose one of the next 2, and if they do, and then the Bills take care of business in their next 2, that game is for the division.
Right.
Week 18's for the division.
At Buffalo.
That's for 10-6,
No,
I think, or for 11.
in Miami.
That's for 10 and or I'm sorry, that should be for 11-6 for both of those teams.
They're not going to lose to Buffalo twice.
I see Miami possibly losing all 3 of those.
Listen, if my point being, I'm with you. I don't want you to think I'm against you. I want Miami to be good, really bad. I love their jerseys. I love their quarterback. I love their coach. I love Tyreek Hill. I love everything about Miami. But I
like
need
Dan
to see
Marino.
It. I need to fucking see it. And if Miami, this is shit or get off the pot. These 3 games dictate everything for them.
You want to know something? That matchup, okay? The matchup
Bills
the matchup with Miami Baltimore. The more I've been thinking about that game, the more and more I like Miami in the matchup with Baltimore.
Other than the Buffalo Bills, nobody wants to win the AFC right now. Nobody wants to be the top dog in the AFC.
I know that.
They're the only ones.
Sleeping on.
So they could do it. They could be that team. They could be the team that matches up with Baltimore, and they could be the team that takes it if they want. That's up to them.
They've got to win that. They've got to beat Baltimore. The Dallas game to me wouldn't bother me if Miami lost. The Baltimore game is the game.
They got to win 2 games in general.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to.
They have to win 2 games, and I think they might only get 1.
They have an opportunity to lose all 3 of those easily.
Yeah,
they don't get their shit together.
I'd pick against them in all 3.
What do you mean if they don't get their shit together?
Well, they got to get their shit together. They had
What
an easy
shit is
win
not
yesterday.
together?
They had a team that fucking laid down yesterday.
Well, yes, and you have to remember they decided to sit Tyreek Hill an hour before the game, just to get him help.
And they had a team that laid down.
Tyreek.
They gave him the decision.
I mean,
go ahead.
What shit do they have to get together?
No, they had a team lay down yesterday. That was not a jet performance.
Most of their wins are lay down wins.
No, that was exactly what a
mean
jet
they're not a good
performance
team because I think the Dolphins have a chance to fucking win.
I didn't say they were a bad team. All I'm saying is
I want to see it.
I think they got.
I want to see it going into the playoffs.
This is their gauntlet right here.
Yeah. I want to see you win 2 of these games. I don't even need to see you beat Buffalo. I want to see you win the next 2, and I'm like, all right, you can win the AFC.
You want to know what's going to be real intriguing right now? Is he's going to sit there and say how the Jets laid down and
they did.
Miami's what it is.
You tell me,
and they need to get their shit together.
Yesterday was your typical Jet performance.
Well,
it was not.
No, because I know what you're going to do here.
Shit.
The Kansas City Chiefs
yesterday.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, he's setting you up.
Who
right
went
now.
to Gillette Stadium to play the New England Patriots yesterday? Came out with a win, 27-17.
Wasn't as close as the score
against Bailey Zappi and the ghost of Zeke Elliott and Hunter Henry. But the Chiefs came out with a win, and the road to the Super Bowl still goes through Arrowhead.
It does.
I think they're the 2 right now.
Fuck.
It's the truth. It goes through Arrowhead.
Did you watch the game, though?
Yeah, hold on. Somebody who watches the games, okay? What about this game led you to believe that this Chiefs team is on a level with, right now, today, if they played Baltimore, the Chiefs would lose. If they played Miami, the Chiefs would lose. If they played Buffalo, the Chiefs would lose. Every single one of your big teams in the AFC right now, the Chiefs would lose.
I don't know about that.
Who do they beat?
They got Pat Mahomes.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Dude, he looks so fucking
awful.
defeated. He
Awful.
looks so defeated right now. He looks so checked out.
Yeah.
They won easily. They won easily.
They didn't win easy.
They didn't. They had to work for it. There's one person that looks more checked out than Pat Mahomes.
Travis Kelce.
It's Travis Kelce. He's the only one that looks
That's
more
because he's
checked
thinking
out.
about all the millions he's going to make when he fucking marries
You're right.
Taylor Swift.
You're exactly
I don't
right.
give a fuck about football.
He's thinking about the ring and how he's going to give it to her on New Year's Eve. You're exactly right. Regardless, Mahomes looks defeated.
He's a big sellout.
Mahomes was
Pfizer
murmuring
boy.
to himself after Tony dropped another fucking ball yesterday. Mahomes is like,
How does that guy? How is he still in the league?
Yeah.
How
I'm
does
with you.
Kadarius Toney
I'm with
still
you.
get a paycheck from an NFL team?
So on top of that, Mahomes' passer rating is now the lowest of his career. He's got no receivers. His top pass catching threat is not. He checked
Jerick
out.
McKinnon.
He played well. Jerick McKinnon or
Jerick McKinnon had a
Clyde-
touchdown pass.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire played really well yesterday.
13
Yeah.
for 37.
But I'm
for
saying,
Edwards-Helaire,
I
and
mean,
then-
who's his most reliable guy right now outside Kelsey?
It's Kelsey.
Is Jared McKinnon.
Yeah, I mean and I think that's saying
A
a lot.
running back is your top receiving threat outside your tight end.
I think it's saying a lot. And they look more like Mahomes looks more defeated by the week. I think that's why you're seeing a side of him you've never seen. Like the bitching
you know
about
what?
the
I don't think you have to
officials.
worry about it. This will push these guys through. They're going to be there right at the end.
They didn't.
Come on,
they didn't
dude.
They're going to be
look
there
good.
right at the end. Who do they
did
play
not
next?
look good
Damn.
yesterday.
Who do they play next? Doesn't matter. They're going to win their division.
I know the Raiders
You
are
know-
at the end. I think they have Raiders. They might have the Chargers again.
Okay.
They
All right.
play the Raiders, Cincinnati, and the Chargers.
There you go.
And I'll bet my
you go.
fucking bottom fucking dollar they
Cincinnati
lose
beat-
to Cincinnati.
Cincinnati beat-
I bet
They
you
will
they
lose
win.
to Cincinnati.
It's
Where's it
at
at?
Arrowhead.
Cincinnati?
It's at Arrowhead.
It's at Arrowhead.
They'll win
And
that.
Jake Brown. But
It's at
what
Arrowhead.
league?
Listen,
Why?
Pat Mahomes is
They're
going to
not
win out.
Good.
They're going to have first place, and because
won't be have
Baltimore's
first
going to
place.
lose,
Let me tell
They
you.
they're
won't
going to
have
slide
first
into
place.
that 1 seed.
Let me tell you
They'll
why
be over.
I
They're going to be the
like-
3
Bro
seed.
goes through Kansas City.
Let me tell you why I at least like Cincinnati this weekend. Because the teams that beat or fare well against the Chiefs, like the Lions in week 1, for example, are the teams that let the run do the talking, which is the Bengals. The Bengals let Mixon do everything at the moment, and that they don't put their quarterback in bad situations. And if he can, I don't even know if Jamar Chase is going to play. He ended up in street clothes yesterday, or on Saturday. Regardless of if Jamar Chase plays or not, if he can dink and dunk his way through the Chiefs' defense, I don't trust Mahomes playing from behind the way things stand right now. On paper, 100%. They're better. They're more talented. They're at Arrowhead. They should win. On paper. But I just see, like, that game wasn't as close as the score yesterday. They needed some bad Bailey Zappi
Here's
picks.
the thing. They're still going to win their division, period. So
Yeah.
they're going to get home. They're at least getting the first round home field.
Yeah.
So guess what? After that, everything else after that is house money.
Okay, so here's my problem. You know who the Chiefs look like to me right now? They look like Brady in that last year in New England.
Yep.
That's what they look like, where everyone was saying
Wheels
the
are
same
coming
thing.
off.
Everyone was saying the same thing. Oh, well, he's got to play on wild card weekend, but it's okay. They still got to come to Foxborough. Well, fucking Mike Vrabel went into Foxborough and shit pumped him.
Hey.
And I think if they get a bad draw, like if they get a hot Bengals team, who would you take? First round of the playoffs if the Browns went
Patty
in.
Mahomes at home.
If the Browns went into Kansas City and drew the Chiefs week 1, 2 versus 7, who would you take?
I just think Kansas City has the most experience.
There's the cop out. There's the cop out.
It's not a
Book it.
who would you
Book
take?
it. He
Who'd you
won't
take?
pick it because
Oh,
there's the
okay.
cop out.
What did I just say?
You're saying Kansas City.
Patty
right?
Mahomes has the most
You're saying Kansas City.
experience.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Right now, if I were picking
That team has
game,
the most experience out of any other team in the AFC.
But it doesn't matter.
Maybe Buffalo.
It doesn't fucking matter.
You don't have to worry about Cincinnati without Joe Burrow.
if I were picking that game right now today, I would probably gun in my head, I would probably pick Cleveland right now today. Chiefs have 3 weeks to rectify that. They have 3 weeks to prove what they're capable of, but they look bad. It looks like it's getting worse. and
Patty
they look
Mahomes, if he can
defeated.
pull this out this year with as shitty as they've been and make it to the fucking AFC Championship game, he's got my respect. And I've never been a Pat Mahomes guy, ever.
My
You know
brother,
what, dude?
my brother in Christ, if they win the first the way they're playing, if they win the first round game, he has
Yeah.
my respect. The way
Yeah.
things have gone there right now, because they look bad.
I agree.
And he looks, I'm telling you, look, next time he's on TV, next time you see him, you could just see it in his eye. He just looks defeated.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looks like there's an issue.
Yeah, beside the Tourette's, he's got a lot. Anyway,
Listen to me. You don't even make sense sometimes. In
move
what
on to the next game, asshole.
in what world? Being the guy who says I watch the games.
I do.
I see what I see.
I do.
And then you turn your back on what you see and then just go to, oh, well, Pat Mahomes has the most experience. Right now, if Buffalo gets a wild card spot and has to play Kansas City, they're trouncing them. It's not even a fucking game.
Okay. Say what you want to say. Till you play the games, you don't know.
But see, you play jump rope when it comes to this shit.
I play jump rope.
Yes, because you say
Nobody plays jump rope as much as you.
no. You sit there and
New
say
England, New England. for a fucking decade. Then all of a sudden,
I'm not talking about what my team is. I'm talking about what you use to describe games. Because you sit there and say, I saw what I saw on the field, and I know what I know.
Yep.
But if you know what you know and you saw what you saw, this Kansas City Chiefs team's a shell of themselves.
Okay.
But the road to Arrowhead still goes through Kansas City.
Of course it does.
The New York Giants headed down to the Superdome to play the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are now 7-7 and second in the NFC South. Well, DeVito Magic gets injured, goes out, and that's the end of that.
That's the
They
end
were
of that.
looking like
veal
shit
cutlet.
before he got injured, though.
They did, yeah. Tyrod Taylor had to come in
That's
relief.
the end of that. Veal cutlet,
Chicken cutlets.
whatever.
Derek Carr, 23 for 28, 3 touchdown passes in this game.
Glad I don't have to see him or his parents anymore. Go ahead.
Tommy DeVito, 20 for 34.
We're Italian. I don't understand why you wouldn't support Tommy DeVito.
Because it's a feel-good story, and he doesn't like
You don't have to feel good about it. Not all Italian stories have a happy ending. You know that.
Well, this one is a happy ending. He got his little fucking 15 minutes of fame. God bless him. Now go out and open your own little fucking chicken stand and sell chicken.
DeVito's cutlets.
less.
Saquon Barkley, 9 for 14 in this game.
Wow.
Alvin Kamara, 16 for 66. Darius Slayton, 4 for 63. Darren Waller, 4 for 40. Alvin Kamara, 44 yards receiving. Juwan Johnson, 2 for 38 and a touchdown.
No Chris Olave.
No Chris Olave.
And it showed.
Well, listen to me. How'd the Giants do what they did for a couple weeks and then just come out and fucking
Well,
poop?
you nailed it. Read us Saquon's line real quick one more time.
9 for 11.
9 for 14.
Yeah, that's the
There you
problem.
go.
If you
That's
can't, they go if they effectively run the ball well. That's what's best.
Their offensive line was not good yesterday. They
Yeah.
were bad, dude.
And I think this game says more about the Giants than it does about the Saints. That being said, I don't like. Do I think Tommy DeVito's some world beater? No, but they had a lot better in the tank than what they gave yesterday. They just were bad. But they're getting Waller back this week. I think that's helpful. I'm excited to see whoever it is, Tyrod or DeVito with Waller.
Waller played in this game.
Oh, Waller did play in this game.
He was 4 for 40 on 6 targets.
Oh, my
in this
bad.
game. But I just don't get how they did it. And then it just because they had it.
Listen, they went on the
Barkley
road
thing,
to a tough place to win, dude. It is not easy to go down
No,
to
it's not.
New Orleans and win.
Go to the Superdome.
It's one of the hardest places to play. Got to keep that in mind.
But yeah,
And they're not that good of a team. The Giants aren't that good of a team.
New
so.
Orleans stays right there in stride. Records tied with Tampa at the moment. So that NFC South might end up being the best division to watch play out.
Dude,
the
there's-
worst,
Most
but the best.
competitive one.
There's a
Got
bunch
so
of
many teams
mid,
there.
shitty, bad teams, and we look at them on paper. It's because everyone's got a fucking backup quarterback right now.
Correct.
That's why everyone has a backup quarterback. So you're thinking a team that's like no sex, no sex, no sex, but someone's gonna get in. So someone in the NFC South's got to get in. Someone in the AFC East, or excuse me, not AFC East, but AFC South and AFC North, they're gonna get in.
Next up,
Precious.
the Los Angeles Rams hosted the Washington Commanders at SoFi Stadium. Washington falls to the bottom of the NFC East after this loss. They're now 4-10. The Rams, as we said earlier, right there in NFC wildcard contention. The Rams win this game 28-20. Washington made it interesting there at the end with 13 fourth quarter points, but ultimately this one was decided
Game
pretty
was
early
fucking
on.
over before then. Garbage time fucking scorer.
Jacoby Brissett came in relief and had 2 touchdown passes in this game. He was 8 for 10 for 124, a QBR of 158.
And it's miraculous how Terry McLaurin, who's done nothing but dog shit all year, as soon as Brissett comes in, this guy has a fucking best game of his fucking year.
That's the problem. They just need a whole new identity on both sides of the ball. I saw a clip of, first things first, I almost got butt fucked by Cooper Kupp, and I would have been devastated because the fucking Commanders don't know. They drafted a corner with their first pick, and Deonte Banks was sitting there watching Cooper Kupp burn the shit out of them. He was sitting on the sideline. What are you doing, Ron Rivera? Get your guys some reps. Coach them. Coach your players. Anyways.
You know, carries out the fucking door, dude. Now I'm starting to wonder if is Sam Howell the guy?
That's what people are saying.
Yeah.
I can't go by what's happened this year.
Yeah.
because it's just it's a wash year.
Yeah.
Like, why would you take reps away from Sam Howell?
I didn't
would you do
understand that
that?
either. Why
would
did
you
he
do
bench
that?
him?
Doesn't
Like,
make
what
any
the
sense.
fuck are
And
you
they're
doing,
talking about
dude?
making a quarterback
Let him
change.
play it out,
What are you
dude.
doing? Just that's what happens when you leave a lame duck regime in, is you get shit like that. Well, guess what? Magic Johnson was in the fucking building yesterday and he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy.
No, and I wouldn't have been happy either. I mean,
Who?
Magic Johnson.
Yeah, who gives a shit what Magic Johnson thinks.
He owns the team. He's part of the ownership
owner.
group.
He's part of the ownership group.
Yeah, he gets a say.
It's more than him.
He gets a say.
Yeah, I'm sure they all listen to him.
Josh Harris is going to bend the ear to Magic Johnson for one reason only. He beat AIDS.
He beat AIDS. He's an AIDS survivor.
Anyway.
So are you guys bought into the fact that the Rams are a real, like,
They're good, dude.
a real
They're
threat?
good. At this point, if you look at them offensively, defensively, and special teams, they're starting to play at a complete level, and I like that about them.
So I think good is a strong word. I don't think they're like crazy world-beating good.
No, I'm not saying they're elite, but they're a good team.
And I don't like the defense as much as you do, but you know what storyline is making waves is that they're probably going to finish 6th, and the Lions are probably going to finish 3rd, and you're probably going to get Stafford coming to Ford Field for the playoffs. And I don't like, out of all those teams, they're the team I want to play based on right now. They're the team I want to play the least because they're hot offensively. That's all it is. I think they're beating bad teams, number one, except for, I mean, maybe Cleveland. That was an okay
The last
win.
2 weeks, they've had this rookie tight end. Is really,
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but
I can't either. But man, this kid's a baller.
That
He's a
being
fucking
said-
baller.
That being said, on the Rams, like they're not putting away any of these teams. They're beating. Their schedule just shaped up really nicely. They're beating a bunch of bad teams.
Listen, that running back they got, that kid is good.
Kieran Williams is very good.
Karen Williams is, I mean,
He's better
been,
than I
Puka
thought he was.
Nacua is
he
very
has been
good.
on a fucking tear.
I saw Puka Nacua drop a ball yesterday, and I had to like brush my eyes. I was like, that guy has dropped.
that actually just happened.
Yeah, he's fucking good. I mean, Cooper Kupp is he
Defensively,
wasn't guarded
that Ernest
yesterday, but-
Jones guy is a fucking beast, dude.
No, they
That
got some
guy's
studs.
all over the field.
They drafted some studs defensively. What's
Yeah.
the safety? One of the safeties looks really good. And no, I'm not crazy bought in on the Rams, but again, that's the theme of the day: is someone's gonna get in. Someone's
Listen,
winning these
they
games,
got
someone's
their
gonna get in.
defense is full of rookies right now. You don't even know who half these guys are.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of odd because the Rams do have a little bit of promise going like into next year.
Listen, go back to
Quentin
the
Lake
end
is
of
the
last
safety.
year to this
Quentin
year right
Lake?
now. When Baker Mayfield was there, I don't think anybody would expect the Rams to be where they're at right now. Am I wrong on that or no?
No.
I mean, because at this point, we didn't know if fucking Matt Stafford was even going to play this year.
No, I thought this team would be one of the worst teams in football
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be a bottom 10 team.
Hey,
and
guess what?
they came out hot.
They're about to fucking kick a hole in the playoffs here.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
If the Rams played the Chiefs right now, who do you think would win?
The Rams played the Chiefs. Where's it at?
Arrowhead.
Arrowhead. Right now, I would say probably the Rams would beat them.
Does anyone beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead in January? Is there any
In
team?
January, how about at the end of January? No.
January in general. It's cold. It's cold there
Not
right
when
now.
it's cold there. No.
You don't think any team beats the Chiefs at Arrowhead?
No, I don't. Especially, listen, I thought they did a great job yesterday. You know, we're missing the fact that one of their key components did not play yesterday, Isaiah Pacheco.
We're going to call that a key.
What do you think?
I think if Isaiah Pacheco's in that ball game, it's a little different.
What do you think of the Rams?
I think they're dog shit. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Again, it all goes back to the same thing. It's on the brink. It's on the fucking brink. They're living on Kieran Williams because when he was dead, it didn't matter.
Listen to me.
I think Stafford's kind of balling right now. They're playing bad teams.
They're balling.
They're
playing
playing
balling.
dog shit. I mean, Jesus Christ. Kieran Williams was 27 for 152 again. He's averaging 5.5 yards per carry with 30 carries. With 30 fucking carries.
I'd like Dan Campbell to really sit there and think about that. Go ahead.
Anyways, moving on from that dog shit game.
That's what David Montgomery should be doing, 30 carries.
Next up, the San Francisco 49ers headed down to the desert to play the Arizona Cardinals. San Francisco comes out on top in this one, 45-29. San Francisco holding on to that 1 seed at 11-3. Arizona now 3-11. This game, the score of this game was closer than I expected. I'm not gonna lie.
They had to work for it in the second half. They had to work for it.
I will say this.
I think it was 21-13 at one point, right?
Hold on.
It was 20.
Yeah,
it was
but
14
right
to 13.
before the half, I don't know if you guys seen that, but right before the half, there was a fumble return for a touchdown on a kickoff. And they were trying to say that the guy's fucking forearm touched the ground, so they called it back. That would have put that game at a 1-point game right there. And I think that's what turned the tides for San Francisco, and they wound up getting a little momentum on that. Otherwise, I think that game would have been even closer than what you've seen.
Christian McCaffrey, 18 for 115 yards and a touchdown. He also had 5 receptions for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. That is the second time this year he has had a 3-touchdown game against Arizona. Obviously, they just don't really have an answer for him there.
You know who really hates Arizona? Go ahead.
Brock Purdy, 16 for 25, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns, QBR of 135. And you know what? Sam Darnold got in this game.
Yes.
Finally, 2 for 3 for 20 yards out of Sam Darnold. George Kittle, 2 for 54. Deebo Samuel, 4 for 48 and 2 touchdowns. As far as the Cardinals go, Kyler Murray, 26 for 39, 211 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, QBR of 66. James Conner, 14 for 86 and a touchdown. DeMercado, 4 for 65 and a touchdown. Trey McBride, 10 for 102. Elijah Higgins had the touchdown reception for the Cardinals. He was 4 for 44.
Real quick before we go on to the fuck fest that is San Francisco, Trey McBride is really good.
Yeah, he is.
Trey McBride is really
Credit where
good.
credit's due. Uncle Sam called that one. Trey McBride is good at football. As far as this goes, go ahead. You don't feel like choosing violence today and talking shit about how Sam Darnold should have just played the whole game and the outcome would have been the same.
Well, obviously, they thought Purdy was okay. You know, I thought that was a bullshit call that they gave them an automatic first down on that hit on Purdy. I think if you're a runner, you subject yourself to hits. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they threw a flag on that play. Absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Brock Purdy's really fucking good.
He was a runner. He was a runner.
Guys,
He took a hit as a runner. You need to fuck off with the get him near the head or the shoulders. What the fuck is that, dude?
the first touchdown to Deebo, the throws that he's making at this point, like the throws. I don't know where
That
this
throw at
fucking
the
kid-
sidelines that he threw to him was nice. That was sweet.
dude. I don't know where
He
this
barely
kid's-
fit that in there.
He's a 7th round end of the like he wasn't good in college, and the confidence on some of the throws that he makes, like the wind, like I don't think anybody's throwing currently right now today. I don't think anyone's
He was
throwing
a
a
5-year
ball.
player in college.
Yeah, but he wasn't making those throws in college. I don't know if
Well, I mean, he
anyone's
played
making
at,
throws in tight
wherever
windows
fucking
like he
played
is.
There at whatchamacallit, Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Yeah,
He hates
I mean-
the Cardinals for not picking him. I don't blame him. It's his hometown
that's
team.
what it is.
And
That's what it is.
damn, the guy just gets like every week, like he's just doing crazy fucking shit. And when was the last time a quarterback led in every stat? When was the last time that happened? That can't happen very often.
Dan Marino.
Yeah, so 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
The guy's fucking good. And then McCaffrey, like
He's otherworldly.
the one was busted coverage. The one way down there. With
Yeah,
Odell.
because he caught that ball, fell down, and got up and still ran.
Yeah, it was busted coverage, but the runs, like he's just like, I'd love to see them
Like
play
I
a
said,
good
if you
defense.
watch McCaffrey run, the guys that are trying to make tackles on him are your safeties. I
Yeah.
mean, when that's going on, you got to buy champagne across the board for that offensive line because this motherfucker's not getting touched.
They're going to be a very
So
tough
he's at
out.
the third level.
They're going to be a very tough out. You need to have a
Yeah.
good defensive line. You need to be really good against the run, and
You got to be able to
play-
protect your quarterback.
Got to be able to protect your quarterback offense, but you got to play clean. If you want to beat San Francisco, you got to play a clean game. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't give them free penalties. You got to be able to tackle. You know, like you can't bust
I
your
did
coverage.
notice something yesterday about that game. I don't know if you noticed it or not.
Busted
James Conner was fucking busting it, dude.
Yeah, so
That
DiMercato.
motherfucker was
DiMercato
busted that
he
one
did too.
play.
Yeah. They
You
both
know what
were.
happened with that? Fred Warner just took a bad angle on him
Mm-hmm.
and missed him. And as soon as he missed him, that kid was gone.
Next up, the Dallas Cowboys headed up to Buffalo to play the Bills. Dallas was 10-3 before this and tied for the NFC East championship. They're now 10-4. And Buffalo, 8-6, right back in at second in the AFC East and firmly in the wild card contention. This game was ugly, and it got ugly fast. And it was 21-3 at the half. And then after the third quarter, it was 24-3. And then Dallas stole a touchdown, a garbage time touchdown late. But either way, my God, what happened?
I think
Josh-
this game was a fluke, personally.
You want stat line for Josh Allen: 7 for 15, 94 yards and a touchdown.
His quote was, "I feel like this was the group project in college, and I didn't do anything and still got an A." That was Josh Allen's quote after the game. And I thought that was
Josh
funny.
Allen's the biggest fucking cunt I've ever seen.
Okay, dude, whatever.
What do you mean, whatever? He's the biggest flop.
Go to the Super Bowl, goes to Arrowhead.
Listen to me. I'm going to tell you right now. What I've seen out of these roughing the passer calls, and then you got Dak Prescott sliding to the fucking ground, throwing his hands up in the air before he's even fucking down on a guy that comes down on him, and they're throwing a flag on that. The guy didn't even touch him. He didn't even touch him. He barely fucking touched him. And then they get up and they're throwing punches. And then the play that Dak Prescott does get finger fucked on, they don't throw a flag. So you tell me what is roughing the passer and what isn't roughing the passer? Because guess what? That roughing the passer that was on Josh Allen was before they scored that second touchdown. That was a third down play. That would have been a 10-0 ball game. And I still think that Dallas would have had a shot to fucking be in that game. But being that
Jesus
happened, they gave it to him first and goal. Whatever, Jesus Christ. It is what it is. Fucking first and goal at the fucking 5-yard line. There you go. That's ball game right there. Because as soon as that fucking happens, that they score the touchdown, they get all the momentum. They're up 14-0, and they got all the momentum in their way already.
Or how about the fact that Dallas couldn't stop the fucking
Yeah,
run to
that's-
save their life?
that was the
And
game.
Well, this
James
was
Cook
afterward.
had their coming
This was
out.
afterward.
Oh, come on, dude. It's one call.
Oh, come on, dude.
It's one call.
This was afterwards. This is the fucking, you're talking about the fucking third possession of the ball game.
Yeah, but they couldn't stop him the first two.
This is what I'm
It was- They
trying
were
to
down
tell you.
14-0.
You're missing what I'm telling you, dude. Listen, these games are all about momentum, dude.
If you're gonna throw
But they were
It's all
up
about
14 to
momentum.
If you're gonna throw
nothing.
the flag, you throw it for everything. If you're not gonna throw the flag, then don't throw the fucking flag.
You know what? If you guys can do,
Put
you
it in
guys
your
can keep
pocket
doing
because
the
it's
same
bullshit.
shit over and over.
That DeMarcus Lawrence one on Josh Allen was absolute dog shit. Because then now Josh Allen starts running around knowing that nobody's going to touch him because they know they're going to get a fucking flag. And he's like, oh, look at Josh Allen. What a warrior. Yeah, warrior my dick. That is absolute dog shit. That was dog shit. And these guys, and I blame the NFL for this because this is how it gets out of hand. Because then you got Patty Mahomes scooting down the fucking sideline. You got fucking Kyler Murray scooting down the sideline. Nobody's going to put their hands on him. But the minute one of
you know
these
what?
guys lay into them,
Hold on.
What?
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Go
because
ahead.
If you watched, you remember the roughing the fucking passer call they called on Tyler Rapp when Dak went to go make the cut back inside before he slid. And then he tapped the top of his fucking helmet.
He barely touched him.
Correct. He barely touched him.
he got a goddamn
And got a
fucking
penalty.
roughing the passer.
So it went both
Correct,
fucking ways.
Correct.
It went both
But then-
ways.
But wait a minute.
Dallas didn't have a fucking. It was 21-3 at the half, and you're gonna sit here and say the momentum swung because of one.
No,
of one
because it was
call.
before that.
Someone got fucked out of one of those rough.
You're
I think
way
Will
off where you're
Levis-
at in the game.
Didn't
Okay.
Will Levis get fucked out? of one of those
You're
calls
off where you're at in the game.
It was
What I'm
14 to
trying
0.
say-
It was 14 to 0.
Yeah, wouldn't have been that because that was a fucking third down play. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They would have been forced to kick the field goal, and Dallas would have only been a fucking 10-point dog at that point.
Dude, Dallas couldn't do anything.
Whatever. Dude.
They couldn't do anything. I mean, Dak Prescott had 134 yards at a pick.
Okay.
They couldn't do anything. Tony Pollard
Oh.
couldn't establish a run. They only gave him the ball 11 times. I mean, You can sit there and talk about momentum all you want, but there's no point in this game.
Whatever.
where
You know
Dallas-
everything. Go ahead.
What was the high point for Dallas in this game? We're going to sit there and
What
say
was the high point of in the Dallas game? I don't know. Maybe trying to tackle Josh Allen. I don't know.
it had nothing to do. Josh Allen had 24 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
James Cook was 25 for 179. You're dealing with a Dallas defense that's supposed to be one of the best in the game, and you let a guy who everybody sleeps on because he hasn't had one good fucking game all year run roughshod on you.
Okay.
Oh, so that's it. You just shut off now?
Oh, you're right.
Oh, okay.
right.
Great.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Top-notch showmanship there.
I think this game was a little more.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I think this game was a little more fluky. I still think if Dallas goes in 7 times out of 10, they're losing that game just based on how Buffalo's playing right now. But this game was a fluke because of the rain and because
They
the
should have
whole
brought
James
DeMar
Cook
in.
thing.
It would have been even better.
You play this game again, they're not letting James Cook run for 180 yards every time, and I thought it was this isn't Buffalo's recipe. I don't think this adds to their heater that they're on right now.
At
It's
that
still a
point,
good
they
win.
were already out of it. They were out of it already at that point. When Cook started really turning it on, the game was over at that point. Like he said, it was 21 to what?
Look, as
21-0.
As someone that
21-3.
As someone that needed Josh Allen to light the fucking game up yesterday and he didn't do it, I
Correct.
still think the run game had more to do with anything Buffalo did yesterday. I don't think that they lost because of and it's James Cook. All they had to do was stop the run yesterday, and they couldn't do it. And it makes me have a little intrigue with the Lions going in there in 2 weeks. If that's what you're going to get, it's the same as Myles Garrett. Who beat? Was it Denver? Denver. How did Denver beat Cleveland? How did they get around Myles Garrett? They go, oh, we're going to run at him. We're going to make him make business decisions,
they did.
and we're going to run right by him. And it makes me think like you want to beat Micah Parsons.
Javonte Williams had a big game in that game.
You did. He did.
Yeah.
You want to beat Micah Parsons? Run off tackle. Run some jet
Run
sweeps.
right at him.
Run some
right
jet
at
sweeps
him,
and
dude.
run right at him and make Micah Parsons come to you and see what happens.
let him
and
chase
not
the
in
play
air.
from behind.
And not in the air. Don't let him go out in coverage. I'm talking about like make him chase J-Mo down. Make him chase fucking Gibbs down. That's what I want to see the Lions do against this Dallas.
Well, I'm
That's the recipe.
just trying to explain to you what I'm seeing right now out of these guys. These defensive players are so fucking afraid to touch a quarterback because they're going to get flagged on it. So why? So they're letting them do whatever they want. Don't you see that? You can't see that? It's fucking ridiculous.
It's inconsistent.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I think Bruce kind of nailed it. There's
It's fucking
inconsistencies.
You
with
know
it.
what's coming, though. Like
you know
that's-
what's coming.
You know that it's going to be a
Josh
bunch
Allen
of dog
flops
shit.
in every single game, and
He
still
flops in
gets
every game he
flagged for
plays,
it.
dude.
Dude, he ran the ball 8 times.
Listen to me, that guy flops, and how many fucking roughing the passers
So
did
does
Dallas
Pat
have
Mahomes.
against him?
So does Pat Mahomes. I mean,
How many
you're gonna
roughing
sit here
the
and talk
passer did
about it.
Dallas
You're
have
sitting here and
yesterday?
talking about it like it's a one-way street. It's not. If you have a mobile quarterback, they get to put on an act and they get the flag. Jalen Hurts does it every week. Mahomes does it every week. Fucking Lamar Jackson does it every week.
You're missing what I'm saying here. This is why these guys run around like they know they can't be touched.
Nobody
It's fucking a
has
joke, dude.
a compilation of them flopping like Josh Allen.
Yes, Bruce, but this is what you're
What does the
forgetting.
NBA do when guys are flopping? They fine them. They should start doing that in the NFL.
Since when?
What do you mean?
when?
That's their big thing
LeBron
now.
James made his career
The
off of
NBA,
flopping.
if you're flopping, they can fucking penalize you for it. They need to start doing that in the NFL.
It was a 31-10 game. We're going to sit here and talk about Josh
Whatever,
Allen.
dude. I'm not going to sit there and talk about the fucking score at that point. What I'm trying to tell you, at a key moment in that game, this guy flopped and gave his team the ball on a third down fucking play that would have forced them into a fourth down to kick a fucking field goal
Okay.
or fucking punt.
Right. So,
Okay.
you're right.
At that point of the game, it was a 7-0 ball game.
Right.
This is what I'm trying to say. This set up a fucking score for them to go up 14-0 on him on a bullshit play that he flopped on. And it was bullshit, dude. It was an absolute bullshit call. And fuck the NFL and fuck the referees. I'm tired of watching football. I'm done. Go.
Dallas, first drive, punt. Second drive, punt. Third drive, field goal. Fourth drive, punt. Fifth drive, punt. Sixth drive, punt. Interception. Come on, dude. I just don't understand. I just don't understand how you can't get past that. It was a 31-3 ball game.
I just told you it was 7-0 at that point.
Okay.
I'm not going to go any further with it.
Next up, Baltimore headed down to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Baltimore comes out on top in this one, 23-7. Baltimore gets 13 points in the fourth quarter. Jacksonville just not able to get anything together in this one. Trevor Lawrence clearly still a little bit banged up. Also, Jacksonville just not able to run the ball much at all these days. Baltimore loses Keaton Mitchell in this game after he had a pretty nice game. 9 for 73 for him. Lamar Jackson, 14 for 24 for 171 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Trevor Lawrence, 25 for 43, 265 yards and a touchdown. Jamal Agnew, decent little game for him, 65-yard touchdown. Zay Jones, 5 for 59. Calvin Ridley, only 39 yards through the air for him. Isaiah Likely, 5 for 70 and a touchdown. Baltimore rolls in a game that I didn't think they were all that impressive in. And just like you said, it seems like nobody wants to win this AFC right now.
No, they still look like shit, the Ravens.
Yeah.
They still look like shit. And yet here they are winning games. And you can't
Sometimes
say
better be lucky than good, Mike.
you can't
Amen.
say, oh, it's because they don't have Dobbins. They're still running the ball well with Keaton Mitchell's gone now, but they're still running the ball well with
Gus, 16
with Gus
for 58
Edwards
and a touchdown in
and
this one.
they don't have Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely looks the part right now. He looks very good. It just feels like there's Lamar's off, like there's untimely turnovers. And the defense needs a little luck to get it. No, the defense. Listen, the defense is coming along.
Their
nicely,
defense is top notch.
but I'm not buying into Jacksonville's just bad offensively. Trevor Lawrence had so many fucking errors yesterday. Like the Matabike strip sack was just Trevor Lawrence carrying the ball like an idiot. And
100. Trevor Lawrence is not playing good football, but I think 90% of it is the fact that he is super fucking banged up.
yeah,
He's fucked up right
Playing
now.
Give him
banged
a
up
week
for
or two.
about 2 months.
if you
now.
give him a
Yes.
week, there's a shot. And it sounds like there was another issue. He's in the protocol. He's in the concussion
In
protocol
concussion
now.
protocol now.
So, I mean, they should arrest him a while back
Besides
because
that,
their
he's got
division's
this
up for
leg
grabs.
Injury. I think he's got the same injury Burrow had, and he's not. He's
not
trying to play
disclosing it. Yeah, I don't know who wants to win the AFC.
It doesn't look like to me. If you watch him throwing the football, he can't really step into his throws.
Yeah, if you can't drive through the
You
ball.
see his accuracy's been fucking dog shit about the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, if you can't drive through the ball, it's not good. Jacksonville's still in first, right?
Jacksonville is still in first.
You
by
had
a
two
game.
first
I'm
place
shocked they're still
teams.
first.
You had two first place teams yesterday that didn't look impressive at all. The only team in the AFC that looked impressive yesterday was Buffalo, and it was for all the wrong reasons and weather. And it's been that way for 2 or 3 weeks. Buffalo's the only team that's looked good for 2 or 3 weeks now. So I don't know. The AFC's wild. I think it's as wild as its wild card race. It could totally be one of those stupid fucking teams that comes out and wins the AFC. I just haven't seen it from any of these teams right now. I don't think any of these teams touch Dallas, touch Philly, touch San Francisco, of course, and maybe even Detroit. I don't think any AFC team can beat any team in the NFC right now. That's just my opinion.
Now, we've got a big matchup tonight on Monday Night Football. Philadelphia is heading to Lumen Field in Seattle to play the Seahawks. The injury report for this game, both quarterbacks banged up. Geno Smith is questionable. They have not confirmed that he is not playing.
He's active, though.
He is active. Jamal Adams, questionable. Devin Witherspoon, inactive. For the Eagles, Cam Jurgens, out. Darius Slay, out. Jalen Hurts, questionable. Zach Cunningham, out. Does that change the way you feel about this at all? If Geno Smith plays and you're missing out on Darius Slay, missing out on Jurgens, and you have a banged-up Jalen Hurts, or a sick Jalen Hurts, a flu game Jalen Hurts, does that change your input in this game at all?
No, I think they'll win this game.
Philadelphia's a 3.5-point favorite. Who are you rolling with?
Philly,
Over, under, or 46?
under.
Zolo?
I like that. Philly in the under. That's a tough place to play still, Seattle.
Yeah.
The Jalen Hurts sick thing, and maybe Geno Smith tests it out. this game could get kind of interesting and cute, but I still
could.
think it could. It could. But I still think Philadelphia wins it by.
And no Dom DeSandro on the sidelines.
Yeah, did you see that? Dom's not allowed on the sidelines now anymore.
Dark Lumen saying they're renaming Lumen Field to Dark Lumen Field.
Dark Lumen Field. Live from
Fat
Dark.
bastards not allowed on the
Yeah.
sidelines.
Yeah. Fuck it. Did you see they posted a video of him? He's walking Jalen Hurts into the stadium now.
Whatever.
He's got to have his security with him.
Every team's got a security guy. I didn't know that.
I don't know if every team
Lions
has
have
one.
one of those.
I don't know, but you'd be the perfect person.
I'm not doing that, dude.
Why?
Because I don't want to be by them motherfuckers.
You don't want to stand next to fucking
No.
Campbell the whole DC?
No,
Why?
no.
Get in Fred Warner's face if he gets too
Whatever,
close.
dude. Punch him in the mouth too. Don't give a fuck.
Anyways.
He's a big pussy. Should have punched him in the mouth.
No, I'm going Philadelphia in the under in this game as well. Anybody have anything else before we go?
No.
Real quick from Schefter. Seahawks headed to the stadium tonight thinking Drew Lock was likely the starting quarterback, but Geno Smith is officially active, and Pete Carroll will decide moments before the game who will be the starting quarterback. There's no official word yet.
There you go, Pete Carroll. Right
Listen, I do have something to add. We're Seahawks fans. Even though if Seattle loses, I think the Lions win the clinch a playoff berth.
They do.
We are Seahawks fans because if the
there. You want
Eagles,
Philly to lose.
we want Philly to lose. If the Eagles lose and then the Lions somehow win out and somehow go into Dallas in 2 weeks and get the job done, well. There's your 2 seed.
Do you think, outside of the injuries, do you think that Matt Patricia, as the defensive play caller for Philadelphia, has an impact on the game?
Matt Patricia is total and utter dog shit. He's a catastrophe and a fat bastard and has no business even being near a football field ever again.
Who's fatter, Matt Patricia or Dom?
It doesn't really matter. They can both stand there on the sidelines and jerk each other off for all I care.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls. TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, make sure to check us out on YouTube so you can watch us and join us in the chat Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 4:30 and 5. Remember to subscribe and ring the bell so you know when we go live. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back on Wednesday.